Chapter 922. 922. The devotee glared at him. I'm not going. Why should I? Why should I be the one who returns? Bloody ladyboy. Why don't you go back? Aren't you loyal and devoted towards Captain, huh? How could you watch him die and not try to save him at all? Spray of Flowers choked and said, What is it? Don't they have a saying in China? Husband and wife are like birds in one grove, but they each fly away at the end of their lives. The devotee gave off a look of disdain. Captain, do you see his true colors now? Nameless Nya glared at the two of them, then turned to the brick-moving foreigner. Little sweetie, go back to famous Yi. The brick-moving foreigner said sternly. Captain, I'd like to help you, but my Mandarin isn't great. Captain, would you like to eat shit? I'll go buy it for you. Little sweetie disappeared without a trace after that. Right after that, there was a click, and the iceberg man had locked himself into the coffin. Nameless Nya nearly spewed out blood from anger. Fuck your father. 1, 2, 3, 4 of you. All of you are useless. The only reliable Fengxian, he was still in long-term offline mode. Why is it so hard to be a captain? Nameless Nya's head was aching when the WeChat notification started ringing once again. Famous Yi, Nameless Nya. What's wrong with you? I'm an unwed lady, yet I'm helping you pretend to be a little child's mother out of my own goodwill. Could you at least help me coordinate the matter properly, huh? Famous Yi, in the end your nephew showed up and you didn't even tell me at all. You even left him alone here and ran away, leaving me to stare blankly at a son who suddenly popped out. I wasn't prepared at all. Famous Yi, what if my boyfriend sees this and thinks I had this boy with a wild man outside, huh? Famous Yi, the main point isn't this. The main point is that I'm a fraud and this dear uncle of his actually went missing. You've got to be kidding me. Yi Wanwan was obviously exploding in fury and typing away crazily. Nameless Nya and the others were trembling. None of them dared to reply. Famous Yi, I'll count to 3 and if you're not going to come out, you will have the bare responsibility for the consequences. Famous Yi 3. Famous Yi 2. Famous Yi 1. Spray of Flowers and the devotee were squatting in the corner, trying their best to reduce their presence. Really envious of that dead man. The coffin is so useful. Nameless Nya took a deep breath. He didn't have any other choice, and as the captain, as the uncle of the little devil, he had to be the one who solved this issue. Yi Wanwan stared at her phone screen. Once she was done with the countdown, a message appeared in the WeChat group. Your friend Nameless Nya has left the WeChat group. Yi Wanwan. Spray of Flowers and the devotee who were curled up in the corner. Shit. Captain, that's too brazen, isn't it? You're just going to throw us into the wolves' den like that? Your friend Spray of Flowers has left the WeChat group. Your friend Devotee has left the WeChat group. Your friend Little Sweetie Eisenjaro has left the WeChat group. 3 notifications appeared one after another, and finally, the group was left with only a certain terminal stage lazy cancer sufferer, who couldn't even be bothered to run for his life. Bastard. You totally forced me to do this. You're heartless. So don't blame me for being unkind. Yi Wanwan gritted her teeth. She was fuming as she strode into the living room. I'm done being his mother. Yi Wanwan went back into the living room in a huff, and marched towards Nya Tang Xiao. Tang Tang. There's something I need to tell you. Yi Wanwan had been gone for a very long time. The little fella had remained on the sofa waiting for her, and when he heard her coming back inside, he turned his head immediately and extended his tiny arm to rub his tired eyes. He replied in a childlike tone, Mommy. The words Yi Wanwan wanted to say were all stuck in her throat instantly. Chapter 923. Yi Wanwan looked at the little boy on the sofa, who looked like a small dumpling as he sleepily rubbed his eyes, and called her Mommy. All her anger dissipated instantly. She was moed to the point where her heart was a mess. Nya Tangxia asked, Is it important? The words lingering on Yi Wanwan's lips immediately changed. Mommy wanted to say, a growing child must never go to bed late. This is really important. Mommy will take you upstairs to sleep. Nya Tangxiao. In. Thus Yi Wanwan, who wanted to chase him away, inexplicably took the little boy upstairs to sleep. Since she wasn't prepared for a guest at all, she could only set Nya Tangxiao down in the guest room. After all, they had just met. So she was afraid that if she suddenly got too close, The child might not be used to it. It would be better to give him some time to adjust. Why was she already thinking about allowing him to adjust? Hadn't she just decided to throw in the towel and quit already? Yi Wanwan had just covered the little guy in a blanket when a notification popped up on her phone. It seemed like someone had sent her a WeChat message. Yi Wanwan tapped on her phone, and she saw that in the group chat containing only her and Iceberg Man, there were a few messages. Your friend Dead Man has received your red packet. Your friend Dead Man has received your red packet. Your friend Dead Man has left the group. Yi Wanwan, fuck. How could there be such a shameless person on earth? He actually collected all the red packets before leaving the group. She sent 2 red packets with 2 different amounts, and that guy actually accepted both without leaving a single cent. Yi Wanwan gripped her phone so tightly that it squeaked. Her rage had instantly reached 100. Bloody hell. If I take this lying down, my last name isn't Yi. In the next second, Yi Wanwan's eyes landed on the little fella, lying in bed with a blanket over him, and his tiny hand on the bed frame. Immediately, the sinister look on her face turned into a fine drizzle. She was afraid she would scare the little fella. Cough cough, tang tang, go to bed. Good night. Good night, mommy. Yi Wanwan tucked him and then turned off the lights. Just as she was about to leave, the little fella behind her suddenly called out to her. Mommy. Yi Wanwan stopped in her tracks. Tang tang, what's the matter? In the dark, she could hear the little fella's young and immature yet slightly cold and distant voice. Will mommy abandon me again? Upon hearing this, Yi Wanwan's heart thumped hard and she felt uncontrollably guilty. Could it be that he discovered something? Yi Wanwan. No, I won't. If I was your mother, I would never abandon you again for sure. Nie Tangzhao's appearance had really messed up many of Yi Wanwan's plans. Since a certain someone was so unreliable, she had to go online and research how to take care of a child. Then she instructed Jiao Jiao and Fatty to prepare some necessities. While she was researching, Yi Wanwan thought of something and researched a little on the Nie clan due to all the unexpected recent events. She also searched Nameless Nie's name as well as Nie Tangzhao's. As expected, the information she gathered was all useless. She already guessed that Nameless Nie and the others didn't have a simple background, and after being rescued by Nie Tangzhao's 2 bodyguards, it further confirmed her suspicions. She only met these people by chance, so she didn't think much of it at first and didn't want to get too close to them. Even regarding this little boy, after Nameless Nie found his biological mother, they would have no relations with one another anymore. For some inexplicable reason, after she met Tang Tang, she started to feel strangely bothered by it. Chapter 924. Yi Wanwan was so busy that she only managed to get to bed at midnight. She was woken up the next morning by a call from Yi Mu Fan. Hello. Gu. Yi Wanwan answered the call in a daze. Yi Mu Fan hurriedly said, I've got good news and bad news. Which would you like to hear first? Yi Wanwan. Whichever, Yi Mu Fan. The good news is that I talked to Su Lin according to what you taught me. We won't change his plot and will retain the entire original script from beginning till end. Also, we'll let him come to our company and meet with Gong Su and Luo Chen personally. Gong Su and Luo Chen put in a lot of effort in their preparations lately and performed well. Su Lin has agreed to let us shoot his work. That's good. Yi Wanwan heaved a sigh of relief. Because she knew this script was Su Lin's blood, sweat, and tears and he had very high expectations for it. She held a script meeting with Luo Chen and Gong Su beforehand to study the script. After they understood the script inside out, they had a discussion with Su Lin, which was why Su Lin agreed to work with them. Su Lin hadn't performed well in this industry largely due to his character. He was overly idealistic and a perfectionist. To him, art was everything. While he worked at Emperor Sky, not only was he unable to take full ownership of his scripts, but they always made edits and nothing remained the same. Retaining ownership of his scripts wasn't the biggest deal to him. The latter was the last straw which made him leave Emperor Sky. He took his final work and wanted to shoot a film that was truly his. Unfortunately, in Yi Wanwan's previous life, before he could accomplish his dream, Emperor Sky completely destroyed it. Not only was his career destroyed, but even the company that worked with him also suffered great financial losses. In the end, Emperor Sky simply got rid of the portion about sacrificing for the country that was unpopular with the public from Su Lin's work, a life and death struggle, and changed it into a romance series, The Age of Love. Although the show was a great hit in the end, not only was Su Lin's own work seized, but the soul of his work had even been taken away. Su Lin was in so much pain that he didn't want to live anymore. What's the bad news then? Yuan asked. Yi Mu Fan's tone was heavy. The bad news is that not long after we signed a contract with Su Lin, that bastard from Emperor Sky suddenly went to see Su Lin, and said Su Lin had stolen the work of his teacher, Tanjin Xian. He wants to pursue the matter further and make him legally liable. I know Emperor Sky's dirty tricks too well. That guy, Tanjin Xian, wasn't able to come up with anything long ago. His only value was that he managed to obtain a title as the gold medal scriptwriter during his early years. Su Lin might be known as his apprentice, but in reality, he was his ghostwriter. Tanjin Xian hasn't squeezed enough benefits out of Su Lin, so he wouldn't let him go just like that. Su Lin wanted to leave to make it on his own, but obviously, Tanjin Xian wouldn't let him off, and Emperor Sky also really wanted to keep the title of a gold medal screenwriter. Even though they knew whose script it really was, they pretended not to know and made false accusations that Su Lin had stolen Tanjin Xian's work. Alright, I got it. Yuan still sounded calm. Great, everything is going as planned. Ha, you're still so calm? Do you know that since we signed the contract with Su Lin, our company has also been dragged into it? Furthermore, Yi Shaoan and Yi knew I started this company with a friend. There's a great chance they wouldn't let go of this opportunity to mess with me. Emperor Sky would definitely sue our company too. Yi Mu Fan panicked. Chapter 925. A hint of craftiness flashed across Yuan's eyes. Sue us then. I was worried he wouldn't. In order to prepare for this day, Yuan had relied on her memory to write the entire script and registered it in advance. She also made Gong Su and Luo Chun spend so much time to study the script, and she specifically trained Gong Su to be presentable in front of people. She exerted so much time and effort and dug such a huge pit. If they weren't going to jump into it, wouldn't it all have been a waste? Huh? You actually hoped Emperor Sky would sue us? What do you mean, huh? Yi Mu Fan was utterly confused. He was afraid Yuan didn't understand the seriousness of the situation, and hurriedly explained it to her. That sly old fox, Tanjin Xian. He already registered the script under his name before Su Lin and claimed ownership of it. And Su Lin doesn't have any concrete evidence to prove that the script belongs to him, so we're in a bad position right now. If we get a lawsuit, we'll lose without a doubt. Yuan was about to explain when a tender voice came from the door. Mommy! Niatang Xiao had woken up and was looking for her. When Yi Mu Fan vaguely heard that voice over the phone, he was stunned. Yuan, what's going on there? Where are you? What are you doing and who are you with? Why did I just hear someone calling you mommy? Yuan's ears nearly went deaf from Yi Mu Fan's shouting. She covered the microphone tightly and said to Niatang Xiao, Tang, wait a little while. Mommy is on the phone. Yuan then walked to the balcony to make sure the child couldn't hear her conversation. Please, could you calm down? Yi Mu Fan was enraged. How could I calm down? Yuan, tell me honestly, did you have a child with that wild man, huh? Yuan pursed her lips and was speechless. Are you going through menopause? Your imagination is running wild. Yi Mu Fan mumbled. I even had a nightmare last night. Yuan. What nightmare? Yi Mu Fan. I dreamt that you and that wild man had a child and he was already 5. I was so scared that I broke out in a cold sweat. Yuan didn't know what to say. How old was I 5 years ago? Am I really such a beast, huh? Yi Mu Fan. So what exactly was that, huh? Yuan replied helplessly. Yes, I do have a child with me right now, but he's my friend's nephew. He's quite pitiful. His parents left him when he was little, and he couldn't find them all these years. My friend noticed that this child was really sad, so he wanted me to pretend to be his mother for a while. Yi Mu Fan. Yuan, are you insulting my IQ? Who would think of such a ridiculous idea? How could you even pretend to be someone's mom? Yuan also knew this idea sounded ridiculous, But nameless Nia made Niatang Xiao sound so terrifying that time, and it was a matter of life and death, so she agreed to it. Who knew that she had actually jumped into a pit herself? Tangtang was really obedient. Yi Wanwan. This is the truth. Why would I lie to you anyway? Even if I had a son with my boyfriend, he would be the most adorable child in the universe. I would be so eager to show him off to the world. Why would I hide it? Yi Mu Fan. If you have something to say, let's talk about it honestly. Please don't stuff me with dog food just because we have a disagreement. Thank you very much. Chapter 926. 926. Meanwhile, at the Yi family old residence. In the courtyard, Liang Meixian was having her morning tea as she placed the teacup in her hand down, agitated. Are you serious? Su Lin's script was actually sold to Yi Mu Fan? Were you mistaken? Don't worry, Mom. I already got someone to verify it. There's no mistake about it. Liang Meixian's eyes lit up instantly. Then we can make use of this incident to mess with that guy, right? Yi sipped her tea elegantly and replied. Su Lin stole the work of our company's gold medal screenwriter, and Age of the Immortals Media actually bought the stolen work, so obviously, they won't get away with it. From what I know, Yi Mu Fan already started filming, and a large sum of money was invested into it. If they lose the lawsuit, they won't be able to film and all the money that was spent would be for naught. Liang Meixian was in a good mood after hearing that. A few days ago, your grandpa and grandma actually praised Yi Mu Fan in front of me. They said he's capable and is starting to make progress. HNG, that bastard. He merely started a small company. What's there to be happy about? Great, if your grandpa and grandma find out Yi Mu Fan stole Emperor Sky's script to film, how do you think they'll feel? Yi's eyes glistened. Grandpa and grandma would never trust him again. Liang Meixian sneered. HNG, that chap still gave a flowery speech and purposefully twisted the truth. He actually managed to get your grandparents to believe him, and your father had to find someone else to take the blame. You must make good use of this opportunity. Let's see how that guy is going to get out of this. Yi confidently said. I already got someone to take care of everything, and we have the evidence too. We'll win this lawsuit for sure. Mom, I already said this before. We just had to wait patiently for an opportunity, and with Yi Mu Fan's character, he'll just cause his own death. Liang Meixian said loftily. You're right. My daughter is the smartest. Those two siblings are so dumb. Add them together and they couldn't even compare to you. We don't have to worry about them at all. Little Garden House. After Yi Wanwan words killed Yi Mu Fan within seconds, Yi Mu Fan didn't have anything to say anymore. Yi Wanwan rushed downstairs hurriedly and saw Tangtang sitting by the dining table, eating his breakfast. The little guy was sitting on a stool and eating his breakfast mechanically. Last night, Yi Wanwan was up all night worrying she wouldn't be able to take good care of the child. After searching on the internet, she saw how many parents complained about their children's problems and how difficult it was to take care of them. She realized she had many things to pay attention to when taking care of a child, and how challenging it was to raise a child. Reading all this caused insomnia for Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan was already prepared for the worst and all kinds of unexpected situations. However, she hadn't expected that on her first morning of taking care of the little boy, there wouldn't be any fuss at all. The little guy woke up himself, put on his own clothes, washed up and sat at the dining table by himself. He wasn't picky about his food either and ate everything that was prepared for him. This child was so well behaved that one's heart could melt. Yi Wanwan walked over with mixed feelings in her heart and said gently, Tangtang, is the food okay for you? The little fella placed his chopsticks down and waited till he was done chewing his food before he answered. Okay. 4-3 Xiaoxio. Chapter 927 Yi Wanwan. If you aren't adjusting to this place, you must tell mommy, alright? Niatang Xiao. Okay. After that, Yi Wanwan didn't know what else to say or do. I'm not a very competent mother, am I? Alright, Tangtang. I'll go get you some fruit. Yi Wanwan hurriedly walked to the kitchen. Master, what do you need? I'll take care of it for you. The fatty exclaimed attentively. Yi Wanwan. No need, just give me an apple. Sure, sure. The fatty immediately picked the nicest apple for Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan picked up the apple and a knife, then returned to the dining table. Tang Tang, mommy will peel the apple for you, ah. Yi Wanwan then slowly peeled the apple into little bunnies based on her memory of what she once saw online. Then she arranged them nicely on a white porcelain plate. The little bunnies were all gathered together, and it looked very delightful and cute. Tang Tang, have some fruit. Nia Tang Xiao looked at the bunny-shaped fruit and had a confused look on his face. Mommy, I'm not a 2 or 3-year-old kid. Yi Wanwan. So a 4 or 5-year-old isn't considered a kid, huh? Oh, Tang Tang, you don't like it? Yi Wanwan seemed a little disappointed. Nia Tang Xiao. It's just not necessary. Oh. Yi Wanwan was so dejected that her head nearly drooped. Seeing how disappointed Yi Wanwan was, Nia Tang Xiao's expression turned solemn. Yi Wanwan laid on the table dispirited. Mommy suddenly feels really useless. I can't do anything for you. The little fella's face turned even more solemn, like he was facing a difficult problem he couldn't solve. After some time, the little fella pursed his lips, then extended his tiny arm. He placed it on Yi Wanwan's head and rubbed it gently. Mommy did really well. Really? Yi Wanwan's head immediately rose like a sunflower. Nia Tang Xiao picked up a little bunny. And I like it very much. It was like the sky had cleared after a storm. That's great, eat more then. Fruit is great for your body. Seeing as Yi Wanwan was energetic once again, the little fella subtly heaved a sigh of relief. At a booth in a certain restaurant in Imperial City, Tanjin Xian made his tea leisurely as he spoke in a very sincere tone. Su Lin, I said this before. You would look for me sooner or later. The man on the other side of the table had heavy eye bags and looked very lethargic. I can write you another script, but please return a life and death struggle to me. Tanjin Xian chuckled. Haha, if you said this earlier, it wouldn't be an issue, but right now I don't think this is how you should negotiate with me. Su Lin's fingers balled into fists. He gritted his teeth and said, I can do it at no cost, and I don't need you to give me credit for it either. Please just return a life and death struggle to me. I already signed a contract with another company for this show, and I can't let them suffer losses because of me. Tanjin Xian shook his head with a pitiful look. Su Lin, you're still so naive. You still don't get it, do you? A life and death struggle belongs to me, and every work of yours in future will be mine, and you have no right to negotiate with me at all. Tanjin Xian looked fearless. If Su Lin doesn't want to lose his reputation, he has to slave away for me. Chapter 928 Age of the Immortals. Everyone's faces were solemn. As a senior, Tanjin Xian's actions were really unacceptable. Luo Chen looked extremely angry. Guilt shrouded Su Lin's face. It's my fault. I dragged everyone into this. Yi Mu Fan patted his shoulder. Su Ji, don't blame yourself for it. If we need someone to blame, it would be that rascal's fault. How could it be yours? Oh right, I told you to secretly record the conversation. Did you do that? Su Lin shook his head. Tanjin Xian was very cautious. He made the reservation and even got his assistant to search my body before entering the booth. I didn't get a chance to do anything at all. Yi Mu Fan sighed. He hadn't placed too much hope on this idea. That sly old fox had been in the industry for so long that he would definitely be on his guard about such a low-level idea. What should we do now? Are we able to do anything to him at all? Gong Su was frustrated. Han Xianyu analyzed the situation. We have to prepare for the worst right now, which is losing the lawsuit and being fined for infringement. Then we'll have to stop all our shooting plans. All the investments we invested in will be gone, and most importantly, it'll damage the company's reputation. Su Lin hurriedly said. Regarding the reputation of the company, I can make a public declaration that this had nothing to do with the company and all of you were merely buying my script. Han Xianyu looked helpless. The issue isn't that simple. Emperor Sky would definitely sway the public's opinion and implicate the company as well. If Age of the Immortals couldn't produce any evidence, they would be in a defensive position. What did Yi Ji say? Luo Chen asked. Yi Mu Fan waved his arms. I already called him, but I didn't really understand what he said. We'll just wait for him to come back, and we can ask him again. At that moment, a pair of footsteps came from the door. It was Yi Wanwan. The few of them hurriedly greeted her. Yi, Chairman Yi, you're here? The moment they saw Yi Wanwan, the atmosphere in the conference room became much more relaxed. As long as Yi Bai was around, it was like any problem could be resolved. Upon seeing Yi Wanwan, Yi Mufan flung his hands up. I already told you about the issue, so what are your plans? Yi Wanwan swept her gaze across everyone present and replied, I am aware of the situation, so I decided that the filming of a life and death struggle will be moved forward to tomorrow. Su Lin was surprised when he heard that. What? Start filming tomorrow? But according to the present situation, shouldn't we try to reduce our losses as much as possible? Why would we rush to start filming? We can't do that. It won't work. It'll also cause the company to be in an even more precarious position with public opinion. What surprised him even more was that no one else showed any objections to Yi Bai's decision. Even though it was clearly a mistake, Yi Wanwan placated him and said, Teacher Su, when you came over to us, I promised you that no matter what happened, the company would resolve it. You just need to do one thing. Film at ease. Su Lin was confused as he turned to the others. So all of you are okay with starting to film as well? He really couldn't keep dragging them into this. They looked at one another. Then Luochen said, I'll listen to Yi Ji. Han Xianyu hung up the call he was on and said, I already got Yang Ji to make the arrangements. Gong Su was all smiles. I'll just leave the thinking to Yi Ji. I'm only in charge of looking good. Chapter 929, 929. After Yi Wanwan made her decision, Gong Su, Luo Chun and the others went to prepare for the press conference the next day. What do I need to do? Yi Mufan asked. Follow me and we'll hold a press conference tonight. After speaking, Yi Wanwan passed him a file. What's this? Yi Mufan took it suspiciously and took out its contents. When he realized what the documents were, Yi Mufan's eyes lit up. Damn. These are. Where did you get all these pieces of evidence? As if we have to be afraid when we have these. We can just countersue Emperor Sky and Tianjin Xian instead for infringement. I'll prepare the venue right away and invite all the reporters. We'll hold the press conference. Hold on. Yi Wanwan stopped him. What is it? We just established our company and with such a tight budget, don't we need money for the venue, inviting the reporters and all the publicity? Yi Wanwan raised her brows. Huh. Then what should we do? We definitely can't save this money. Yi Mufan was lost. Yi Wanwan laughed. What's the rush? Emperor Sky will secure an amazing venue and invite the media. They'll have a grand press conference for us. What did you say? Emperor Sky will do it for us? How's that possible? Have they lost their minds? Yi Mufan was baffled. Yi Mufan was about to continue asking when his phone rang. It was a call from Yi Yi. Yi Mufan furrowed his brows. Why's Yi Yi calling me at this hour? The corners of Yi Wanwan's lips curved upwards. Answer it. Yi Mufan answered the call with an indifferent expression. What's the matter? Mufan, today is Emperor Sky's 20th anniversary. You and Wanwan should come over and join us at the 20th anniversary celebration tonight. Yi Yi's courteous and well-mannered voice came through the receiver. Yi Mufan knitted his brows. Yi Yi's being so nice in inviting us over for Emperor Sky's anniversary celebration? It can't be a banquet set up with the aim of murdering a guest, right? Afraid Yi Mufan would refuse her invitation, Yi Yi continued. I already told Grandpa and Grandma and they already agreed, so you don't have to worry about it at all. When Yi Mufan heard that, he was about to reject her when he suddenly recalled what Yi Wanwan said just now, and was stunned for a while. Could this be the grand press conference Yi Wanwan was referring to? The one someone was willing to spend money to prepare for us? Yi Mufan's eyes lit up and he responded immediately. Got it, I'll be there on time. Over on the other end, Yi Yi concealed the mocking tone in her voice and said gently, Great, I'll get someone to send you guys the invitation later. Mufan, I hope you don't mind, but the new guards at the gate may not recognize you and Wanwan, so it's more convenient for you to come with an invitation. Don't worry about it, I understand. Of course I understand. I'm already very glad that Grandpa and Grandma were willing to let me attend the celebration. After Yi Mu-fan ended the call, he hurriedly asked, So Wanwan, you're planning to make Emperor Sky's 20th anniversary celebration into our press conference. This is big, not just grand. The preparations for Emperor Sky's 20th anniversary celebration had started 3 months ago, and all sorts of publicity had been done. In order to steal worldwide entertainment's limelight and show that Emperor Sky was more dominant, Emperor Sky rented the most expensive international convention and exhibition center in Imperial City. Various well-known media and reporters would be present. From the publicity to the venue, the cost of this celebration was exorbitant. Chapter 930. 930. On that very night at the International Convention and Exhibition Center, stars were shining at the venue. The mega-stars who always had a myriad of fans surrounding them were all trying to find a chance to be around Yi Yi at that moment. Yi Shaoan was the current chairman of the Yi Group, and Yi Yi was his one and only beloved daughter. As the future successor of Emperor Sky Entertainment, and even the entire Yi Group, she was naturally the target everyone wanted to curry favor with. Tan Lan, who was entertaining guests at this moment, excused herself and walked over to Yi Yi. Yi, did you tell Mu-fan? Yi Yi smiled sweetly. Grandma, I already told him and Mu-fan said he'll be coming. And good. Tan Lan nodded. Lately, she noticed that Mu-fan had indeed been making progress. Not only was he becoming more outstanding in the design industry, but he also started his own company and the artists he signed were pretty good, so she started to view him differently. Even Yi Hongwei had relented and suggested inviting the siblings, Mu-fan and Wanwan, over for the company's 20th anniversary celebration. This decision of Yi Hongwei's was no small matter. This meant he was starting to reconsider Yi Mu-fan as his successor. How could Yi Yi and Liang Meixian not know what the two elders were thinking? The two elders' attitudes were too obvious. Just as they were talking, Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu-fan handed over their invitations and entered the venue. Grandma. Once he saw Tan Lan, Yi Mu-fan hurriedly called out to her warmly and exclaimed, Grandma, you're simply too beautiful tonight. When I saw you from afar, I thought you were an angel who fell from heaven. Tan Lan was bursting with joy. This child only knows how to talk nonsense. Yi Wanwan immediately raised her hand and chimed in innocently. Guji is telling the truth. I can testify to that. Tan Lan looked at them and pretended to be annoyed. Did the two of you smear honey over your mouths, huh? Mellifluous music started playing at the venue, and the first dance segment began. Yi Mu-fan bowed like a gentleman and extended his hand. The most beautiful lady tonight, Miss Tan Lan, may I have the pleasure of dancing with you? Tan Lan readily agreed, and the two of them slowly made their way towards the dance floor. Thunderous applause resounded in the place, then there were whispers everywhere. Aya, isn't that the great young master of the Yi family, Yi Mu-fan? He actually came back? Didn't they say he was incapable and was chased out of the family? I heard he's been pretty good lately, and the chairman already allowed him to attend an occasion like this. But I'm afraid that, seems like this Yi family is about to have their previous regime restored. Liang Meixian gritted her teeth in anger as she listened to the gossip around her. The old master and madam are obviously biased towards this precious grandson of theirs. Yi Yi said indifferently. Yi Mu-fan is always showing off with his clever talk. It's not like you don't know that, Mom. Liang Meixian scoffed coldly. Chenji, he only has that glib tongue and is as dumb as a pig. He actually gave us the bargaining chip himself. In the past, Yi Mu-fan was just a nobody at home, but only a few people in the industry knew about it. But things are different now. Liang Meixian wanted to see whether the old master and madam would still give him another chance when he embarrassed them tonight in front of all the guests and media. Yi Mu-fan, your last hour is coming and you still have no idea at all. We shall see how long you can remain so pleased. With that thought, Liang Meixian was in a better mood. Remember to give out more red pockets to the media so they'll entertain our great young master Yi tonight. Mom, I know what to do. Everything is in order. Chapter 931. 931. Soon, the first dance ended. Everyone present was from the entertainment industry, and they all knew exactly how to weigh people's words and make observations. Very soon, a beautiful woman walked towards Yi Mufan. "Mr. Yi, would you like to dance?" Yi Mufan took a glance at her, and his eyes lit up instantly. The artists present were all A-listers and higher in Emperor Sky, such as this woman before him. She was a newly promoted A-lister blossoming flower. She went the sexy route and was the goddess of many men. "TSK, this chick isn't bad, huh? Even with my fussiness and high standards, she could score an 8. Yi Mufan replied without hesitation. Of course. When Yi Wanwan noticed this situation, she took a sip of her drink and gave Yi Mufan side eye. Yi Mufan felt a chill go down his spine. The words that had already reached his lips immediately turned back. "Cough, of course it'd be an honor, but I'm really sorry. I've been busy these few days and I'm not in good shape. I'm afraid I might offend Miss Een." Ever since Shun Mengqi's scandal was revealed, Yi Wanwan was mostly worried he would revert back to his old ways as a flirtatious wastrel. So he was given an order and wasn't allowed to indulge in drinking and sensual pleasures. Most importantly, he wasn't allowed to have relations with any female artists. The Age of Immortals didn't have any female artists, so he was quite well behaved, but if he was in Emperor Sky, wouldn't that be like having a wolf in a pack of sheep? Therefore, Yi Wanwan had to keep a close eye on him. "I see, maybe we'll have a chance next time." The beauty obviously knew Yi Mufan was turning her down tactfully and had no choice but to leave. At the same time, there was a hint of doubt in her eyes. There were still a number of people who went up to him like the beautiful woman to strike up a conversation, but they were all rejected by Yi Mufan as he stayed by Tan Elan's side throughout. That night, Yi Mufan had many eyes on him, and they were surprised with what happened. Did Yi Mufan the playboy undergo a sex change? Tan Elan was observing her grandson the whole time, and seeing as he wasn't even playful or flirting around that night, she was obviously very pleased and she said gently, "It's normal for young people to socialize. You don't have to stay by my side all the time." Yi Mufan replied obediently, "I can socialize anytime, but I don't get to spend a lot of time with grandma usually." Tan Elan's heart softened when she heard that. "Oh, didn't I tell you before? You can always come home anytime when you're free, or did someone make you mad again?" Thinking back on that incident at the old residence, Tan Elan's gaze turned colder as she looked at Liang Meixian. She said, "Mufan, this is also your house. Grandpa and Grandma aren't dead yet. Nobody would dare to deny you from coming home." When Liang Meixian heard that, she was fuming mad, but she could only echo along, "Mom is right. Mufan, you and Wanwan shouldn't only care about working. The two of you should come home more often to visit." Darn it. Indeed, it's all because we're blood-related, right? Furthermore, Yi Mufan is the son of the first wife and their only grandson. As expected, he's not so easy to get rid of. This can't be happening. I fought so hard to get the Yi family in my hands. How could I simply allow Liang Meixian's family to snatch it away? Liang Meixian winked at Yi discreetly. Yi said softly, "Grandma, the reporters are ready. Shall we begin now?" Tandilan nodded. "Sure, let's begin." Soon, the anniversary celebration started, and the invited media made their way in. The superstars walked on the red carpet one after another, and entered the venue. The place was dazzling. The common belief that the Yi family occupied and controlled half of the entertainment industry wasn't an exaggeration at all. Chapter 932. 932 On stage. After the enthusiastic host was done with his opening speech, he handed the stage over to the chairman, Yi Hongwei. After Yi Hongwei, the president of Yi Group and Emperor Sky Entertainment, Yi Shaoan, went up on stage. Standing next to him was the elegant director of talent recruitment, Yi. In the audience, a few elders from Emperor Sky couldn't help but exclaim, Life is truly full of ups and downs." 3 years ago, the person standing there was Yi Xiaoting, but in just the blink of an eye, all the newcomers in the company don't even have a clue who Yi Xiaoting is. They only know of Yi Shaoan and Big Missy, Yi. Exactly, the chairman doesn't allow Yi Xiaoting through the Yi family's door or company. He didn't even allow him to attend such an important occasion, and only his son, Yi Mufan, was allowed. But judging by the chairman and madam's attitudes toward Yi Mufan, It's quite hard to say who'll get their inheritance. You're too naive. How could that idiot compete with the father and daughter duo? The best outcome from this is simply allowing him to return home and giving him a bit of money. He wants to be involved in the company? That's just a pipe dream. That's true. It was very clear that nobody in Emperor Sky Entertainment had any regard for Yi Mu Fan, but since they noticed the two elders changed their attitudes towards him, they exchanged conventional greetings to give the chairman some face. The entire anniversary celebration had a cheerful and warm atmosphere. When it was approaching the end, a media interview segment came up. Various well-known media outlets clustered around Yi Hongwei, Yi Shaoan, and Yi Yi in an orderly manner as they posed questions. Aside from a couple higher-ups, there was also director Liao Xianfeng, gold medal screenwriter Tanjin Xian, and a male and female lead. Yi Yi stood before a dozen microphones and said to the various media, "I'll take this chance to share a piece of good news with all of you. Tanjin Xian's latest work, The Age of Love, will begin filming. I hope everyone will lend us your support." When the media heard that, they all stepped forward to congratulate her. Many people will be eager to watch it. Teacher Tan is setting the bar higher and higher. His ideas are new and original, and every story is moving. I wonder where Teacher Tan got his inspiration for this show, The Age of Love, and what sort of surprise he's going to bring us. I just finished the script 3 months ago. In order to complete this work, Tanjin Xian already knew what the reporters would ask, so he started talking about his writing process and the challenges he faced. His motive was very clear. He wanted to leave a lasting first impression on the media, so they'd believe he was the original owner of this work. As expected, the reporters were filled with admiration and showered him with compliments after they heard this. Tanjin Xian didn't forget to bootlick. He glanced at Yi Yi and said, "Everyone's too kind. It's all thanks to Miss Yi Yi's recognition of my worth that allowed me to display my talents." Tanjin Xian was mid-speech when his phone started ringing all of a sudden. Tanjin Xian tapped his phone. Displeased, then his face changed immediately before the media. He yelled angrily, "This is ridiculous." Seeing Tanjin Xian in a fury, the reporters looked at each other with confusion. Teacher Tan, what happened?" Tanjin Xian looked like he lost his senses. He walked in Yi Mu Fan's direction and held up his phone up to Yi Mu Fan's face. "Great young Master Yi, please give me a reasonable explanation." Chapter 933. What's going on? What happened? All the reporters were confused. At that moment, Yi Wanwan sneezed and was sitting on a high chair nearby. She rested her chin on her hand and was swirling a glass of strawberry juice in boredom. Tonight, the Age of the Immortals press conference would start. If this was before, she would have been somewhat worried about Yi Mu Fan and stayed by his side. But now, she just had to watch him perform silently. Yi Mu Fan took a glance at Tanjin Xian's phone. It was a post on Age of the Immortals Weibo announcing that they would be shooting a life and death struggle. Faced with Tanjin Xian's aggressive interrogation, Yi Mu Fan raised his brows and said indifferently, "Explain? I wonder what Teacher Tan wants me to explain?" Liang Meixian and Yi Yi looked at one another and revealed mocking scowls. Does he really think everything will be fine if he pretends not to know anything? They had already dug all the traps, so he had no choice but to fall into them. Tanjin Xian looked at all the media outlets present, then shouted, "Everybody, tonight is Emperor Sky's 20th anniversary and the announcement of the Age of Love." At first, I didn't want anything to ruin the atmosphere, but some people here are such big bullies and are simply too shameless. He then looked at Yi Mu Fan with frustration. "Young Master Yi, I contacted your company 2 days ago and told Su Lin that the script for Life and Death Struggle was stolen from the Age of Love. I hoped the company would provide an explanation. I thought young Master Yi would definitely deal with this fairly. Who knew that not only did you not stop Su Lin, but you quickly announced the start of filming even when you knew this work was stolen by Su Lin." Tanjin Xian's words immediately caused an uproar, and all the cameras were pointed in Yi Mu Fan's direction. Damn. What did Tanjin Xian just say? Yi Mu Fan stole the script, and even when the other party came knocking on his door, He didn't deal with it and allowed filming to begin? I just read the post on the Age of the Immortals Weibo. Teacher Tan was right. They did announce they would begin shooting tomorrow. This is really quite ridiculous, huh? It's probably because his grandpa is the chairman that he's fearless, right? No wonder Chairman Yi actually chased him out of the family before. This is absurd. Does he know how to manage things at all? Wouldn't the company go bust if it landed in his hands? Watching this chaos, Yi Hongwei's face darkened. Mu Fan, what exactly is going on? Was what he said true? Yi Mu Fan was silent for a moment. It seemed like a painful topic to him. Grandpa, what Teacher Tan said was true. Upon hearing what Yi Mu Fan said, everyone looked at him with even more disdain. Liang Meixian and Yi Yi looked like they expected this to happen. There was no way he could deny this incident. Yi Mu Fan continued, however, there's a misunderstanding on this matter. Grandpa, when we go back, I'll explain things more clearly. Is that all right? After all, it's a joyous occasion today for Emperor Sky, and I don't want this incident to ruin the mood. Yi Mu Fan wanted to settle this matter privately, but obviously, someone didn't want to let him off. Tanjin Xian said sternly, misunderstanding? Since you said it was a misunderstanding, why don't you make yourself clear right now? Chapter 934. 934 This. Yi Mu Fan looked as if he was in a difficult situation. Teacher Tan, let's talk about it in private, alright? Tanjin Xian sneered. Since you insist on avoiding the problem, I'll have to get Chairman Yi to seek justice for me. Yi Hongwei had just changed his opinion on this grandson of his, so when he witnessed this situation, his expression was complex. Mu Fan, what's the misunderstanding? Just tell us directly. He obviously hoped it was a misunderstanding, but if it wasn't, Mu Fan's wrongdoings and avoidance of the issue would really let him down. Yi Mu Fan looked at the two elders and pleaded, Grandpa, Grandma, please believe me this time and let me deal with this privately. After all, we shouldn't air our dirty laundry in public. It'll get really ugly if it becomes big. Before the two elders could speak, Liang Meixian sighed softly. So even you understand that we shouldn't air our dirty laundry in public, huh? Then why do you keep doing such despicable acts? Don't you know who you'll embarrass in the end by doing that? It's the Yi family. It's your grandpa and grandma. With so many friends and media here today, if your grandma and grandpa allowed you to cover it up, our Yi family and Emperor Sky Entertainment wouldn't be able to face the public in the future. What would others think about our company if we cover up and hide our shortcomings? Yi Shaoan echoed righteously as well. Dad, Mom, as the general manager, I think we should at least have an answer for the public since the issue's already been made public. This is for the sake of the company's image. This isn't just a family affair. This is about the company. We should obviously make things clear. No matter who it is, nobody should receive any special treatment. Upon hearing Tanjin Xian and Yi Shaoan's words, a subtle smile appeared on Yi Mu Fan's lips. TSK, little sis is simply amazing. These people actually acted according to her expectations and couldn't wait to jump into the pit we dug for them. I was being the nice guy to try to stop this matter from blowing up, but in the end, I couldn't stop them at all. Wangwan wanted Yi Mu Fan to intentionally stop talking to allow Grandpa and Grandma to see it for themselves. He tried so hard and cared about preserving face for the Yi family. Too bad. Some people just didn't care for it. Alas, Yi Mu Fan was forced and didn't have any other choice. He said helplessly, Alright, I'll need to borrow some equipment for a while. Do whatever you need. Yi Shaoan looked at him, calm and unruffled. Yi Mu Fan strode over to the stage. Seeing as Yi Mu Fan was forced to go up, Yi even asked cautiously, Teacher Tan, are you sure Su Lin didn't have any evidence on his side? Tanjin Xian was very confident. Don't worry about it. Unless someone managed to write the exact same script, whatever Yi Mu Fan say will be useless. Upon hearing this, Yi Yi was at ease. If that was the case, she didn't have to worry about any future consequences. On stage, after Yi Mu Fan went up, he started instructing the crew members to adjust the camera, sound system, and big screen. Although Yi Yi was upset, she could only allow the crew members to cooperate with him. After everything was in place, Yimu Fan finally spoke up. Ladies and gentlemen, all our reporter friends, good evening. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I am one of the founders of Age of the Immortals Media, Yimu Fan. Since the creation of Age of the Immortals Media, we've had Han Xianyu, Luo Chen, and Gong Su working under us. As for our next steps, we're mainly preparing to shoot a movie titled Life and Death Struggle. The main lead of this movie is, and it's about Chapter 935. 935. The more Yi listened to this, the more uneasy she felt. What's Yimu Fan doing? Liang Meixian crossed her arms and sighed. This guy is such a smooth talker. He's still trying to change the subject now, huh? Let's see how long he can drag this on for. Yi Shaoan spoke to Yi Hongwei with a grave expression. Dad, Mu Fan is just like his father. Always doing things to harm the company and the family's interests. You didn't believe me when I said he stole the company's confidential document. This time he stole the company's script. You guys believe me this time? Liang Meixian said. Dad, Mom, this matter is very serious. You guys shouldn't be so soft-hearted again. You must deal with this very seriously. Otherwise, what would outsiders think about the Yi family? Yi Hongwei looked at his wife next to him, and his eyes were filled with utter disappointment. Could it be that the only grandson of the Yi family was beyond redemption? With the setup of a top-notch audio system, lights and grand media, Yimu Fan publicized various aspects of the company, then introduced the movie they were going to shoot. He also announced some news about them starting the shoot the next day. The reporters Yi bribed beforehand obviously couldn't sit still. Mr. Yimu Fan, please get straight to the point and stop changing the subject. Exactly. We just want to know one thing. Whether the company was involved in stealing, and whether you're continuing to take advantage of others even when you guys are aware of the infringement. How are you planning to deal with this? One of the fatter reporters exclaimed sternly, Mr. Yimu Fan, please don't evade responsibility. Since you're guilty, you should apologize publicly and make reparations, then stop the shoot immediately. You should also be suspended of your duties and reflect on your mistakes. Actually, I think there's no point of having such an irresponsible company. It might lead the entire industry astray and become a tumor to the entertainment industry. Yimu Fan nodded. This reporter here, I fully agree with what you said. Yimu Fan swept his gaze across everyone, and his expression gradually changed. After some time he finally said, I spoke so much just now to prove one point. This company is the blood, sweat and tears of my friends and I. We love and treasure it more than anyone else, and would never do something that violated the regulations of the industry. Teacher Tanjun Xian really wanted me to provide an explanation for this incident, so right now, I hope Teacher Tan will provide me with an explanation. Tanjun Xian laughed fearlessly. Oh, what does young Master Yi want me to explain? Please go ahead and ask. Yimu Fan asked casually. Teacher Tanjun Xian, you mentioned you completed the Age of Love 3 months ago, right? Tanjun Xian, that's right. Yimu Fan, are you sure? Who can prove that? Tanjun Xian sneered. My records, emails and the time I registered it can prove it. I also discussed the relevant storyline with Miss Yi previously. She can testify to that. In order to validate his words, Tanjun Xian even pulled Yi into it. When Yimu Fan realized the pit he dug dragged more than one person down, he was finally satisfied and continued. Good, you claim this work belongs to you and you completed it in 3 months. Then I'd like to know, on the big screen behind me, why is there a piece of work that has the same exact content as The Age of Love, and was completed half a year ago, huh? Chapter 936. 936. Tanjun Xian scoffed when he heard that. Someone actually wrote the exact same piece of work half a year ago? How's that possible? I'm afraid Yimu Fan is dreaming. The moment Yimu Fan said that, the image on the screen changed and a few images appeared. Someone going by the ID Su Lin posted a script titled Life and Death Struggle on their blog. Everyone scanned through the synopsis, and the content was exactly the same as Tanjun Xian's The Age of Love. However, nobody expected that Su Lin's life and death struggle script on the blog was actually posted 6 months before Tianjin Xian declared he completed The Age of Love. As they watched the big screen behind Yimu Fan, all the reporters were dumbfounded. What's going on? Wasn't Su Lin the one who stole Tianjin Xian's script? Why's Su Lin's life and death struggle posted way before The Age of Love was finished? If that's the case, isn't it reversed? It was Tianjin Xian who stole Su Lin's work, right? That can't be. Tianjin Xian is a gold medal screenwriter. Is there some sort of misunderstanding here? Tianjin Xian stared at the big screen behind Yimu Fan. His brows furrowed as he looked at the photo, but he remained calm and said, Yimu Fan, you actually forged the evidence. Yimu Fan laughed and said plainly, Teacher Tianjin Xian, I've never met anyone that dumb who would create such a clumsy and fake piece of evidence to show so many reporters and media reps. If people don't believe me, you may visit the site of the blog directly and see things for yourself. Then everything will be clear, right? While Yimu Fan was talking, all the reporters got their phones out and were investigating. In the end, with just one look, everyone was taken aback. They found that post on the blog and verified it carefully. It wasn't just a screenshot photoshopped by Yimu Fan. The evidence was presented right there before everyone's eyes. Tianjin Xian was fearless at first, but as he saw that the people around him were acting differently, he hurriedly took out his phone to search, and was completely dumbfounded. This is impossible. This is completely impossible. When Su Lin started writing this script, he watched Su Lin the whole time. How could the script have been written 6 months ago? This is preposterous. Yimu Fan swept his gaze across everyone present and said, It doesn't matter what project a company works on. The company has to make necessary preparations and conduct their research before they can launch the project. We strongly believe there was no problem with Mr. Su Lin's script, and we have concrete evidence to prove this point. We are also very willing to answer any questions anyone has about this. However, judging by Teacher Tan's reputation and character, I think there may be some sort of misunderstanding regarding this issue. Furthermore, he is also the screenwriter for Emperor Sky Entertainment, and Emperor Sky has always been very professional and reliable. That's why I wanted to clear the air with Teacher Tan before making things public to prevent any disagreements from arising. However, since Teacher Tan wanted to talk about it right here, I could only respect his wishes. Tianjin Xian was standing below the stage, and received more and more strange looks and whispers. At the moment, beads of cold sweat were forming on his forehead. He racked his brain, but still didn't understand how things turned out this way. This strange incident was actually happening. Chapter 937. 937. Even if he had strong telepathic skills or a good memory, it would have been impossible for Su Lin to recreate the script exactly. Which meant there was only one explanation left. Su Lin lied to him, and the script was completed a long time ago. He was also one step ahead of him and published it online. He had completely fallen into Su Lin's trap. After the reporters were dumbstruck for a moment, there was an uproar. He caused such a ruckus and actually got it wrong. The Age of the Immortals didn't steal the script. It was Emperor Sky Entertainment? All the reporters immediately crowded around Tianjin Xian. Reporter. Teacher Tan, is there anything you'd like to say regarding the evidence Mr. Yi provided? Tianjin Xian. I remembered things incorrectly. Actually, I finished writing this script a long time ago. Reporter. But didn't you say you completed it 3 months ago and you even have Miss Yi to testify for you? Reporter. Did you steal from Su Lin and lie to us? Although the media had already read pocket bribes from Yi, they had done what they could, and if there was some other explosive news, they wouldn't let it go. This unexpected plot twist was even more explosive than the original news. Furthermore, Yuan had obviously made preparations too. Tianjin Xian stammered, and was trying to turn the situation around. Unfortunately, Yimu Fan had already prepared a trap for him, and exposed everything at the scene. Some of the reporters even started to crowd around Yi Hongwei and the other higher-ups. Reporter. Chairman Yi, what do you think about this infringement incident at Emperor Sky? Reporter. Chairman Yi, Is this incident an indication of Emperor Sky's negligence in management? Reporter. Chairman Yi, there have been many internal issues at Emperor Sky. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Is there anything you'd like to say regarding this? Yi Hongwei watched the chaos at the scene, and his face was 100 times uglier than before. Something so embarrassing actually happened at such an important event like Emperor Sky Entertainment's 20th anniversary party. Yi swiftly got the security guards to separate the media from them. Sorry everyone, this is our company's internal issue. Please take your leave first. We will have a press conference once we have more details. Yi Hongwei was so furious that his entire face was already black. Shaoan, what's going on here? Yi Shaoan had been waiting eagerly to witness a good show from Yi Mufan. He hadn't expected this to happen at all, and only regained his senses after the old master called on him to account for it. There must be a misunderstanding, Yi Hongwei. Misunderstanding? Why don't you tell us what sort of misunderstanding there is? Yi Shaoan choked and replied, Dad, we really shouldn't deal with this at an occasion like this. Let's just disperse the reporters and control the situation first. We'll talk about it in private later. Liang Meixian hurriedly chimed in. Since Mu Fan has evidence, why didn't he make it clear earlier? He's doing this on purpose. He doesn't even care about the special occasion today, and insisted on making things so ugly. Is he happy now? A pair of unhurried footsteps came from behind them as Yi Wanwan walked over and stood next to the two elders. She talked like she was in a difficult position. Grandpa, Grandma, Gigi kept requesting to deal with it in private earlier. It was second uncle, second auntie, and Yi Jia who didn't agree to it. There were so many reporters at the scene just now and everyone was forcing Gigi to provide an explanation. Why didn't second auntie consider what occasion it was today, huh? Chapter 938. 938 Yi Wanwan's words immediately left Yi Shaoan's family speechless. Initially, Yi Hongwei was already quite upset with their attitudes and this incident had severely intensified the bad feelings he had towards them. There were also many problems with the way Mu Fan and the two of them handled the situation. Liang Meixian glared at Yi Wanwan. What does a kid like you know, huh? Don't interrupt. Yi Wanwan stood next to the old master. Grandpa, I really didn't know anything, but I can tell right from wrong and the one in the wrong isn't Gigi. Yi Hongwei looked at his granddaughter next to him, and his expression turned gentler. All right, Wanwan, Grandpa knows your brother isn't in the wrong. Mu Fan, what you did today made me look at you with new eyes. After speaking, Yi Hongwei looked at Yi Shaoan with a frozen expression. Shaoan, do you know where you went wrong? Yi Shaoan's face stiffened. Yi Hongwei said sternly. Firstly, you have a bad judgment of people which caused this scandal. Secondly, as the group CEO, the person steering the entire company, you must be able to look at the overall situation. But you allowed the incident to devolve into the worst case just because of your selfishness. Thirdly, you had no intention of having a family reunion. Yi Hongwei spoke as disappointment built up on his face. I think you're not even as good as Mu Fan and Wanwan. This comment was very harsh. Darkness appeared in Yi Yi's eyes and she said anxiously, Grandpa, sorry, don't blame Dad. I took over this issue and it was my fault for not investigating things further. It's not Dad's fault. Yi Hongwei spoke gravely. You were indeed in the wrong. As the person in charge, you shall be suspended from your duties for 3 months. Liang Meixian panicked when she heard him. Dad, that's too much. What does this incident have to do with Yi? How could you punish Yi? Anyway, Yi and Yuze will be engaged next month. If you suspend her now, what's she going to do? Yi Hongwei sneered coldly. Who was the one who said there were many reporters around today, and there must be an answer for the sake of the company's image? Who said this was business-related and not a family issue? You guys were right. Nobody should be given special treatment. We should deal with this issue as is. Yi Yi's gaze darkened slightly, and she spoke in a sweet and patient voice. Mommy, don't talk anymore. I deserve the punishment. Yi Mufan walked over with a guilty look. Sorry, Grandpa and Grandma. I caused the celebration to turn out this way. Tanny Lan sighed. Mufan, Grandma understands. It's not your fault. After all, they had witnessed what Yi Mu Fan did just now, so they obviously knew who was in the right and who was in the wrong. Yi Hongwei glanced at his grandson and said in a deep voice, I found out a little about that new company you started. Mu Fan, if you're able to show some achievement within a year, Grandpa can consider giving you a chance. Yi Wanwan had waited a long time to hear this. Her eyes lit up immediately. When she saw that Mu Fan wasn't reacting at all, she silently tapped him. Yi Mu Fan returned to his senses and hurriedly said, Thank you, Grandpa. I'll do my best. At that moment, Yi Yi and Liang Meixian's faces completely changed. The stubborn old master, who'd never change his mind once he made a decision, actually relented. He was actually giving Yi Mu Fan a chance to inherit the company. Chapter 939. 939 Liang Meixian was shocked. Dad, how could you do this? Yi Wanwan said casually, Grandpa has always been fair. Second aunt, are you doubting Grandpa's judgment, huh? Or do you think you can override Grandpa's decisions in this family? Liang Meixian was too afraid to look at Yi Hongwei's rigid face. Yi Wanwan, don't talk nonsense. Since when did I say anything like that? What I meant was, Liang Meixian and Yi Shaoan wouldn't take this lying down and obviously wanted to argue. But too bad, they already made the rules clear when they tried to mess with Yi Mu Fan. If they changed what they said now that they were the target, it would be equivalent to slapping their own faces. It's decided then. Nobody is allowed to talk about it again. Yi Hongwei wasn't in the mood to listen to squabbling between the younger generation. His face darkened as he left the banquet hall with Tan Yilan. The guests and media left the place as well. Once everything was settled, Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan left too. When they reached the entrance, Yi Wanwan realized Yi Mu Fan kept looking down and seemed to be mumbling. Go, what are you doing? Yi Mu Fan lifted his head and said, Don't disturb me, I'm trying to figure out something. Just how many pits did you dig for Yi Shaoan and the others this time? They gained the trust and favor of Grandpa and Grandma, got a free press conference, got top-notch film publicity and saved a whole lot of money for marketing. They cleared their names, sought justice for Su Lin, and suspended Yi Yi from her duties. He already lost count. Wanwan had dug a pit for everyone she wanted to mess with. The siblings were chatting when a familiar male voice resounded behind them. Young Master Yi, it's been a while since we last met. Yi Wanwan's eyes narrowed when she turned around and saw who spoke. It was Gu Yuzhe. When Yi Mu Fan saw that it was Gu Yuzhe, he extended his arm and pushed Yi Wanwan behind him to protect her from Gu Yuzhe's gaze. Yi Mu Fan's eyes were cold. Oh, it's who I thought it was, so it's this scumbag, huh? What do you want? Gu Yuzhe chuckled and said, Nothing much, I was just quite surprised. You played your hand well tonight, young Master Yi. I think I underestimated you. After he spoke up to this point, Gu Yuzhe's tone suddenly changed and the smile in his eyes turned into contempt. Too bad this won't change anything. Yi Mu Fan's fingers balled up into a fist. Tisk, is that so? We'll wait and see then. Gu Yuzhe didn't say anything and strode away with a smile. Before he left, there was obvious aggression in his eyes as he glanced at Yi Wanwan without saying a word. From a man's point of view, Yi Wanwan was indeed very attractive after her makeover. But unfortunately, she was just a flower vase who looked pretty on the outside and didn't benefit him at all. If he wanted to play with this sort of woman, there were a bunch of them in the industry, and he could have whoever he wanted. There were countless of them who appeared on his doorstep too. Yi Mu Fan obviously knew what Gu Yuzhe's gaze at Yi Wanwan meant. He was so enraged that he nearly beat Gu Yuzhe up. He restrained himself only because he cared about his younger sister. Yi Mu Fan looked at Yi Wanwan and comforted her gently. Wanwan, don't be upset over that scumbag. Gu will definitely win the Yi family over. Then you can marry whoever you want. Yi Wanwan. Don't worry, I already said it before. I have no feelings toward Gu Yuzhe at all. Chapter 940. Yi Wanwan felt pretty helpless. She already made it clear several times. But why did everyone still think she couldn't get over Gu Yuzhe? If this person didn't show up every once in a while, she wouldn't even remember who he was, alright? Yi Mu Fan was still suspicious. He saw how Yi Wanwan was so desperate and smitten over Guyu Zhe before. Yi Wanwan explained helplessly, "Really, I don't have such bad taste." Yi Mufan then asked, "Tell me what sort of guy you want to marry in the future then?" Yi Wanwan replied matter-of-factly, "Obviously I want to marry my boyfriend." Yi Mufan glared at her angrily. "Could you be more idealistic? Could you have higher expectations? Tell me the ideal kind of guy you want to marry. No matter who you want, Ji will help you get him." The ideal kind of guy, huh?" Yi Wanwan pretended to ponder deeply. Yi Mufan nodded. "That's right. Anyone is fine." This wasn't exactly considered bluffing because if he won the Yi family back, his younger sister would be able to marry any young master she wanted with her qualifications and looks. Yi Wanwan thought for a very long time. Finally, she looked into Yi Mufan's eager eyes and answered, "Oh, see Yi Han then." Yi Mufan, Yi Mufan's mouth twitched and he couldn't speak at all. Yi Wanwan raised her brows. "What's with your reaction?" Yi Mufan swallowed and patted his sister's shoulder. He said sincerely, "Sis, Ji thinks that being idealistic and dreaming are two different things. You need to be able to tell them apart. Head home early to shower and sleep, okay?" Yi Wanwan. Before she headed back, Yi Wanwan went to the shopping mall first. At first, she merely wanted to buy a few sets of clothing for Tang Tang. In the end, she bought everything from toothbrushes to cups to pajamas to toys. She also bought bedsheets and curtains for the house. As long as it was cute, she couldn't resist. Finally, she couldn't carry all the things by herself, and had to resort to getting the shopping center to deliver the items to her place. Little House of Rose. The group of 5 mercenaries was standing in a row, trembling in fear. On the sofa opposite, Nye Tang Xiao sat there with a rigid expression. His little arm was holding a stack of documents and there was a terrifying aura around him that didn't match his age at all. "It's a pity that all 5 of you weren't able to hit the mark." The group stood there and didn't dare to say a word at all. The little boy was holding records of every single detail about them. Where they were from, their backgrounds, their abilities, and even every mission they had undertaken ever since they joined the mercenary group. Even the top intelligence group in the world wouldn't be able to obtain such classified information. The 5 of them were anxious. The moment they were outside the protection of their master, they would go back to being chased for the rest of their lives. We know we're not qualified enough to stay by master's side. But we will work very hard. Me too. Nye Tang Xiao pushed a black booklet towards them. "This is your training plan. If all of you are still unable to satisfy me in 3 months, I will find someone else to replace you." The 5 of them quickly accepted the black booklet. When they scanned it, they nearly fainted. Upon seeing the 4 big golden words on the cover, the fatty's eyes nearly popped out of his sockets. Damn. What did I just see? Chapter 941. What Scarlet Flames Academy? Jiao Jiao stared at the golden words on the cover, and mumbled with confusion. Old Zhang's face was serious and he muttered, "Jiao Jiao, you're still young and might not know about this. If I remember correctly, Scarlet Flames Academy is one of the top 3 mercenary academies in the world, and Tang Long came from there. Only A-rank mercenaries and higher can make it through with the monstrous training there." Song Chong gulped. You're kidding, right? 3 months. How are we going to do it?" On the sofa, Nye Tang Xiao said expressionlessly, "This is just the beginner level. It's not at expert level training yet." Tang Bin's face was covered with fear. Beginner level is quite scary too, okay? With their standards, they might not even be able to pass the entrance test. Reaching this standard within 3 months was simply asking for their lives. At that moment, a pair of footsteps appeared at the door. "I'm back. Please help me carry some stuff." Once they saw that Yi Wanwan had returned, it was as if they had seen an angel as they happily flew over to their master like little birds, and quickly helped her carry her shopping bags. Some brought slippers to her while others even brought fruits to her. "Master, you're back? Master, it's been hard on you. Master, welcome home." Yi Wanwan was confused. Why are they acting so warm today? Yi Wanwan didn't think much about it, and asked about Nye Tang Xiao immediately. Was Tang Tang alright today? Was he afraid or uncomfortable being by himself? The 5 of them went silent for 3 seconds, then shook their heads at the same time. No, really? Yi Wanwan felt uneasy and asked again. The 5 people nodded. Really? We're absolutely sure. They were the ones who were afraid and uncomfortable, okay? Yi Wanwan changed into her slippers and entered the living room. Tang, I'm back. The little fella immediately put down the objects in his hands and walked over to Yi Wanwan. He stood in front of her and lifted his little head to look at her with sparkling eyes. Mommy! Yi Wanwan's heart was shaken instantly by the little boy's adorable gaze. She tousled his hair gently. Tang, were you a good boy at home today? The little fella acted like a furry little animal. He squinted his eyes and rubbed his head against his mother's warm hands and nodded firmly. And Yi Wanwan's heart softened when she saw how the little fella was much more intimate with her today compared to yesterday, when he wasn't used to her yet. Is it really because familial ties run in the blood? Oh, no way. How could I forget I'm not his biological mother again, huh? At the door, the group of 5 stared at the obedient little white bunny in front of Yi Wanwan. Sorry, Mommy was late. Yi Wanwan spoke while she looked at the black booklet on the coffee table with the words Scarlet Flames Academy. What's this? Little boy replied. Homework. Yi Wanwan nodded. Oh, it's homework. Tang, you're so hardworking. Do you need Mommy's help? The little boy looked at the 5 people at the door and said, No need, Mommy. You must be tired after work. Guji and Jiejie will teach me. Yi Wanwan was very moved. Alright, Tang is so sweet. The suffering group of 5. Master, save us. This is homework indeed. But it's homework for the 5 of us. Too bad our master can't hear our calls for help, and is taking the little white bunny upstairs. Tang, come over. I bought you some really cute pajamas. Mommy will help you try them on. See if you like them. Alright, Mommy. Chapter 942. Yi Wanwan saw many cute pajamas for children and couldn't stop buying once she started, so she ended up buying many sets at once. Yi Wanwan took out one set after another and placed them on the bed in the bedroom. There was one with a light blue Doraemon print, one with a light pink kitty print, and one with a teddy bear print. Each piece was cuter than the last. When Yi Wanwan imagined how adorable Tang would look when he put them on, she nearly moved the entire shopping center back home. He was such a cute little fella, yet he was always wearing a little suit. It was very unsuitable for his age. This piece looks good. Oh, this is cute too. Which should you try on, huh? Yi Wanwan was conflicted. The little fella said, I can wear a different set for Mommy every day. At first, Yi Wanwan was worried she went too far and the little fella wouldn't like the clothes, so she was very relieved to hear him say that. In the end, Yi Wanwan picked a velvet white tiger one-piece that had King imprinted on the hood. It even had a pair of ears. It was super adorable. Try this first then. Okay. Do you want Mommy to bathe you? Yi Wanwan asked. The little fella held up the pajamas and blushed. I can do it myself. Yi Wanwan smiled. All right. After Tang went to shower, Yi Wanwan walked out and closed the door of the guest room, planning to return to her room to remove her makeup. The moment she walked out, there was a WeChat notification on her phone. Yi Wanwan tapped it, and when she saw who sent it, she raised her brows with surprise. Nameless Nya, famous Yi. Emergency call, emergency call. She didn't expect Nameless Nya, who left the group and pretended to be dead, to actually take the initiative to contact her first. Yi Wanwan glanced at the message and tapped on her phone leisurely. At the same time, in a certain hidden corner in the yard downstairs, Devotee, has Boss Famous replied? Has she? Spray of flowers. Why hasn't she replied? Little sweetie. Maybe she didn't see it? Nameless Nya. Let me send another message. There were 5 heads hovering over Nameless Nya's phone as Nameless Nya sent another message. Then the 5 people saw a red exclamation mark in front of the second message they sent. There was a message in gray from the system. The other party has enabled friend confirmation. You are not her friend yet. Please send a friend request, and you may chat once the other party has accepted your request. Nameless Nya, Spray of Flowers sighed. Captain, it seems like you've been blacklisted. Nameless Nya rolled his eyes. Shut up. Your father didn't ask you to speak. Seeing as their captain was furious, the devotee immediately looked for someone to blame. Captain, it's all that darn iceberg's fault. If he hadn't accepted Famous Ye's red pocket before leaving the group, Famous Ye wouldn't be so mad. The veins on Nameless Nye's forehead were protruding out. All of you, cough up all the money you have. Spray of flowers, and the devotee responded in unison. Captain, I don't have any money. Nameless Nye scoffed. Stop pretending. You guys sold me out but dare to say you don't have money? Spit it out right now. Send a red pocket to Famous Ye. Hurry up. I'll count to 3 and whoever doesn't spit out some money will have to come with me to the little woods to train. I'm not going. With the captain threatening them, the 3 people didn't have a choice and each sent Yuan a red pocket reluctantly. The iceberg man's phone was directly snatched by Nameless Nye. Chapter 943. Upstairs. Yuan was humming a song as she returned to her bedroom when her phone started ringing once again. Yuan opened her phone. Aside from Nameless Nye, whom she had blacklisted, the other 4 people sent her red pockets one after another, and each red pocket was accompanied with a message. Devotee, red packet, boss famous. Spray of flowers, red packet, as pretty as a flower. Little sweetie eyes in Joro, red packet, pretty 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 pretty. Dead man, red packet beautiful. 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 Yuan. This embarrassing slogan. She really didn't want to accept them. Yuan was speechless for a long while before she finally accepted the red pockets. Dead man Famous Ye. You finally care about me. Famous Ye, I was wronged. The little devil ran over by himself suddenly. I had no idea at all and I was shocked too. After that, I wanted to tell you but the little devil didn't allow me to. He said he wanted to give you a surprise. So there was nothing I could do. I was desperate too. Yuan read the message the iceberg man sent, and she could tell with one glance that the person holding onto the iceberg man's phone was Nameless Nye. Haha, surprise. It was truly a huge surprise. Dead man. Famous Ye. What's the situation over there now? Have you met the little devil? Have you guys acknowledged each other? Did he believe you? Will he see through the lies? I'm at your place right now. Is it convenient to talk? Nameless Nye swiftly typed a block of questions. Yuan was still quite mad at first, but when she thought about Tang, her heart softened and she called Nameless Nye directly. Yuan. In. Nameless Nye, cough hello. Famous Ye. Yuan. Come in and talk. Nameless Nye immediately replied. No need. I won't be going in. I just wanted to know how my little ancestor is doing and I'll be off. The fear in his tone that he might see Tang left Yuan speechless. Must he go to this extent? At the other end of the call, Nameless Nye sighed and sounded ashamed. Famous Ye, I'm really sorry. I didn't put you into this situation on purpose. I know it's really hard to take care of that little devil. He's peculiar and unlikable, and he always has that indifferent little face and sharp tongue. He even has an obsession with cleanliness at such a young age, and doesn't allow anybody to touch him, and he's extremely picky about food. There's a saying that goes like this. A phoenix doesn't rest unless it's a Chinese parasol tree, won't eat unless it's a bamboo fruit, and doesn't drink unless the spring water is as sweet as wine. This little ancestor of mine is even tougher to wait on than a phoenix. He's picky about his clothes, his food, the car he travels in, the feng shui of a hotel room, and the bed he sleeps on. You have no idea that we had to bring along a pillow whenever he went out in the past. Nameless Nye brought up his tear and blood-filled past and spoke nonstop. Yuan was completely bewildered as she listened to him. Is the little boy I met the same person Nameless Nye's describing? Did I pick up the wrong child? Yuan knitted her brows. Wait, Captain Nye. Why's the person you described completely different from the person I met? Nameless Nye. Different? What do you mean? Yuan said gravely, Captain Nye, I might have picked up the wrong kid. Nameless Nye was stunned for a moment before he exclaimed, What did you say? How could that be? How could you recognize the wrong child? Yu Wanwan pinched her brows. But your description just now was completely off. Anyway, just come over quickly to confirm it's him. Chapter 944. Upon hearing what Yu Wanwan said, Nameless Nya was completely stunned. Initially, he thought that with the guards by the little devil's side, there wouldn't be any problems at all. He didn't expect that not only did the little devil chase him away, but he also chased the two guards away when he arrived at Yu Wanwan's place. That was why he mustered up all his courage and rushed over to check on the little guy. Otherwise, if the little devil didn't have anyone by his side and something happened to him, even 9 lives wouldn't be enough to withstand the Empress Dowager's rage. Now that Yu Wanwan suddenly told him she might have picked up the wrong child, it wasn't hard to imagine how Nameless Nya was feeling. Nameless Nya forced himself to remain calm. Wait, no, you said you might have gotten the wrong child. Then how does this kid behave? Yu Wanwan blinked. How does he behave? He'll eat whatever he's given and wear whatever that I pick. He'll sleep anywhere and doesn't make me worry at all. He's obedient, cute and sensible. He's also very warm, caring, attached and a sweet talker. He's simply a little angel. Nameless Nya was in despair. Shit, it's the wrong one. Spray of flowers. Wrong one. Brick moving foreigner. Wrong one. Devotee. It's definitely the wrong one. Iceberg man. All 6 of them froze. Come on. Go take a look and you'll see. Yu Wanwan didn't know what else to do and hurriedly brought the 5 people into the house. It was just a couple of steps. Yet the 5 of them were acting like they were crossing the bridge to the afterlife and would be in hell once they reached the other side. We actually lost the little devil. How are we going to keep our lives? Tang Tang just showered. I got him some new pajamas and he loves them. He said he'll change into them for me and he should be done by now. Yu Wanwan went on to talk about Tong Tong's current situation while she brought the 5 people through the little garden towards the living room. Nameless Nya's back was very straight, spray of flowers was covering his eyes and only dared to leave a small gap. And the devotee was so anxious that he started praying to Jesus. Captain, looks like he's in the living room. Spray of flowers exclaimed. The 5 of them looked at one another then charged in the direction of the full-length window. Nameless Nya was so fast that Yu Wanwan only saw a shadow flash by. In the blink of an eye, before she could even react, that guy was already on the window. Spray of flowers and the devotee were also climbing the window like lizards. Could they use their skills on better things? The corners of Yu Wanwan's lip twitched, and she quickly caught up to them. Nameless Nya. Where? Spray of flowers. Captain. On the sofa. That boy on the sofa, is he? Nameless Nya. Where? After Nameless Nya located his target, he was immediately interrupted. Spray of flowers and the devotees' voices were also scattered in the night wind in the very next second. All they saw was their little devil sitting on the sofa in the living room, wearing pure white velvet tiger one-piece pajamas which had a tiger's tail at the back, and 2 cute tiny ears on the hood with the dominating word king printed in the middle. Nameless Nya. Who am I? Spray of flowers. Where am I? Devotee. What am I doing? Brick moving foreigner. There must be something wrong with the way I open my eyes. Iceberg man. Chapter 945. At this very moment, it was as if there were hundreds and thousands of stampeding little tigers going through the minds of Nameless Nya and the others. Upon seeing the unusual expressions on their faces, Yu Wanwan walked over anxiously. Hey you guys, what's with this reaction? Did I get it wrong? The group of 5 was still in a perilous state and couldn't calm down. Say something guys. Yu Wanwan was panicking. Nameless Nya took a glimpse at the little fella in the living room, and was so moed that he clutched his chest immediately. After some time, he lifted his head and spoke with much difficulty. Famous Yi, what exactly did you do to our little devil, huh? Why's he like that? Yu Wanwan blinked and looked very innocent. I didn't do anything. He was like that from the beginning. Nameless Nya. Yu Wanwan disregarded their strange reactions, and was relieved she could finally confirm that she had the right kid. Yu Wanwan heaved a sigh of relief. So I didn't pick up the wrong kid, right? You guys are making a fuss over nothing. I was nearly scared to death. Nameless Nya. Who's the one who was nearly scared to death, huh? Go inside and sit for a while, Yuanwan said. Nameless Nya immediately replied. No, no need for that. We just needed to make sure you didn't get the wrong kid. Yuanwan was speechless. You're already here. If you don't say hi, are you really his uncle, huh? At that moment, Spray of Flowers raised his arm carefully. Wait, is that really him? The devotee choked a little. I think we have to make sure. Right, Captain? Brick-moving foreigner. I think so too. Iceberg man. They were struggling to come to a decision when they heard a pair of footsteps. Swish, the window was pulled open. All they saw was Nya Tangxiao walking over. They didn't even know when he saw them. Shit. The sudden appearance of the little devil caused their souls to fly out of their bodies as they jumped 3 feet high. Swish. They were now all hiding behind Yuanwan. Yuanwan glanced at the people hiding behind her, and her lips twitched subconsciously. Nya Tangxiao's gaze swept past the people behind Yuanwan and landed on Yuanwan. He lifted his little head as usual, leaned over and spoke in a cute and innocent voice. Mommy! When Yuanwan saw Tang had changed into the pajamas she bought, her face flushed brightly. He was too adorable. She couldn't help but squat and embrace the little fella in her arms. Oh baby, you're really too adorable. The group of 5 looked at Yuanwan, who actually dared to hug the little devil. The little fella pursed his lips and asked nervously, Mommy, do you like it? How could Yuanwan not like it? She wished she was the one who gave birth to this boy. Of course Mommy likes it. Mommy loves Tang the most. Yuanwan tousled the little fella's hair and gave him a peck on his soft and cute cheeks. The little boy was stunned. He touched his face and there were sparkling stars in his eyes. Tang loves Mommy the most too. The group of 5 whose nerves were on the verge of going insane. Ah, right Tang. Your uncle and the others are here to see you. Yuanwan finally remembered the 5 people who had been forgotten. Currently, Nameless Nya and the others' expressions were in more shock than before. When Yuanwan saw Nameless Nya in a daze like a fool, she secretly kicked his leg and warned him in a low voice. Hey, say something. Chapter 946. Nameless Nya gulped hard. He stared at the obedient, adorable, sensible, warm, caring, attached and sweet little angel before him in shock. I say, ancestor, are you alright? What happened to you? Don't scare me. Nya Tangxiao was wearing the furry little white tiger one-piece pajamas, and he was holding the edge of his mother's top. He replied expressionlessly, I've always been this way. Do you have a problem with that, uncle? Nameless Nya what? Nameless Nya felt like he was going nuts with this game. No way. How could that be? You're obviously... Nameless Nya was interrupted before he could even finish Spray of Flowers. That's right. Devotee, exactly. Brick-moving foreigner. He's always been this way. Spray of Flowers. Always been so obedient, cute and sensible. Devotee. And warm, caring, attached and a sweet talker. Brick-moving foreigner. He's a little angel. Iceberg man. Nameless Nya. Fuck. These bastards. They sold me out again. Yuanwan was proud when she heard that. That's what I said. Tang is a little angel. Nya Tangxiao's dark and clear eyes subtly lit up when he heard that. In the living room, Nya Tangxiao sat on the sofa while Nameless Nya and the others were squeezed opposite. They were sitting in a neat row with their backs straight. Yuanwan looked at the little fella and said gently, Baby, keep your uncle and his friends company, alright? Mommy will go prepare some tea. Sure, Mommy. The little boy nodded obediently. When he nodded, the tiny ears on his hoodie shook at the same time. He was so adorable that the 5 people sitting opposite couldn't even take it anymore. Yuanwan went to the kitchen to prepare some fruit and drinks. She left them alone on purpose so that both uncle and nephew could chat alone. The second Yuanwan turned around and left, the 5 people in the back raised their arms towards her retreating figure at the same time. Hey, don't go. As expected, the moment Yuanwan left, the living room went silent and the air around them started to change. Nya Tangxiao was still wearing a cute outfit, but when Yuanwan wasn't around, the aura from the little fella changed immediately. After what felt like forever, Nameless Nya coughed lightly and finally tried to start a conversation. Baby, how have you been these 2 days? What do you think about your mother? Nameless Nya was inevitably apprehensive and wasn't sure if Yuanwan had blown her cover. Nya Tangxiao looked plainly at his uncle and said, "Please be mindful of the way you speak." Nameless Nya felt a chill on his back and immediately changed his words. "Oh, young Master Tangtang, how have you been these 2 days? What do you think about your mother?" Spray of Flowers looked at his master sympathetically. "Captain is really brave, huh? He actually had the guts to call the kid baby." The devotee and little sweetie looked at one another. Indeed, the little devil is still the little devil. No doubt. Nya Tangxiao, Mommy's great. When Nameless Nya heard that, he was quite surprised. It was rare that this fussy little sharp-tongued master would evaluate someone and say they were great. Actually, he could tell that the little devil was quite fond of Yuanwan. He didn't expect the person he got to pretend to be the little devil's mother would suit the little devil's liking. So this meant he resolved the crisis for now, right? But there was still one very important thing. Nameless Nya considered his words carefully and asked anxiously, "Then have you met your father?" Chapter 947. Logically speaking, the first thing the little devil must have asked his mother after they met should have been his father's whereabouts. Hence, Nameless Nya couldn't help but worry Yuanwan wasn't able to adequately explain. Nya Tangxiao. No. Nameless Nya was surprised. "You didn't ask your mom?" In the past, the little devil kept asking where his parents were. They couldn't find his mother, but the issue of his father was even more problematic. They didn't even know who he was, and the only person who knew where his father was his mother. So he thought the little devil would have definitely asked his mother the moment he met her. Nya Tangxiao. Mommy will tell me when she wants to. Nameless Nya. Nameless Nya's face was covered in tears when he heard that. There's quite a bias in how you treat me, huh? Previously, he was as destructive as the howling wind and torrential rain. But now he was so gentle and caring towards his mother. "I'm your mother's blood brother. Could you at least give me some face?" Spray of Flowers immediately said, Right. Boss is right. What if his mother doesn't know who his father is either? It would be really awkward if he asked." Devotee. Boss is more thorough and attentive. Brick-moving foreigner. Boss is extremely talented, educated, and scholarly. He strategizes and can plan for victory from 1,000 miles away. Iceberg man. Nameless Nya took a deep breath, resisted the urge to beat them all up and disband the team. He turned to the little devil and asked, "Then when are you planning to go back?" Nya Tangxiao's gaze was cold. "Go back?" Nameless Nya. Great. Looks like he didn't consider this before, and doesn't have any intention of returning at all. Nya Tangxiao glanced in the direction of the kitchen and said plainly, "I'll go wherever Mommy goes. MSCR*wed. We can't take this child back anymore." Their original plan was to let the mother and son meet up to calm the little devil down. After that, they would come up with an excuse that his mother had to stay in the country for the time being and make him head home first. But judging by the little devil's attitude right now, he had to quickly find his real parents if he wanted to bring the little devil home. The little devil had been away from home for so long. How was he going to explain to the Empress Dowager back at home, huh? Nameless Nya was on edge. At that moment, Yuanwan returned with some beverages. Nameless Nya rushed over quickly. "Famous Yi, I need a favor from you." Yuanwan was on guard instantly. "What is it this time?" Nameless Nya rubbed his hands. "Don't worry, I just wanted to make a death exemption medal." "What on earth is a death exemption medal?" Yuanwan was at a loss. "What I mean is, could you help me take a photo of Tangtang and send it to me?" Nameless Nya requested. Yuanwan looked at him and didn't know what to say. "It's just a photo. Why don't you do it yourself?" Nameless Nya. "I don't dare." Yuanwan. Yuanwan didn't want to embarrass him any further, so she walked towards the coffee table and placed the beverages down. Then she took out her phone and looked at the little fella on the sofa. "Tangtang, you look really cute in this outfit. Can Mommy take a photo of you?" Nya Tangxiao looked at Yuanwan's phone. "Sure, Mommy." Yuanwan rubbed her chin. "Hold on, Let mommy decide which pose is cuter. Oh right, this one. Yi Wanwan shoved her phone toward nameless Nia and put her arms together to form a heart shape. Come on, do what mommy is doing and face the camera. Chapter 948. The little fella learned very quickly and executed a perfect heart pose. Yes, 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 that's the way. Yi Wanwan hurriedly grabbed the phone from nameless Nia and took a photo of Tong Tong's adorable look. Nameless Nia, spray of flowers, devotee, brick moving foreigner, iceberg man. They actually lived to see the little devil acting cute in their lifetimes. After the photo was taken, Nia Tangxiao pursed his lips and looked at Yi Wanwan with bright eyes. When Yi Wanwan, who was admiring the cute photo, noticed the little fella's gaze, she looked up. What is it, Tang Tang? The little fella shook his head and didn't say anything. Yi Wanwan thought about it, then tried probing. Oh, would you like a photo with mommy? The little fella's eyes lit up immediately. Yi Wanwan giggled. Come over. She then handed the phone to nameless Nia and said, Good Ji, help us take a photo together. Nameless Nia was stunned when he heard that and froze. Yi Wanwan called out again. Hey? What's the matter? Yi Wanwan was panicking inside. Hey, could you please act more professional? Why did you freeze when it's time for you to perform? Nameless Nia returned to his senses after some time and took the phone. Yi Wanwan heaved a sigh of relief. She held Tang Tang and looked into the camera along with him. Then the mother and son raised one arm each and raised them over their heads, forming a heart shape. She seemed to have returned from a formal event. She hadn't even removed her makeup or changed her clothes, and was wearing a long, sky blue skirt. Her makeup was light, and she had an air of gracefulness and nobility about her. How could my sister be so ladylike and elegant? Are you done? Yi Wanwan rushed him. Done. Nameless Nia cleared his thoughts along with the strange feelings he suddenly had and took the photo. After nameless Nia made sure the little devil looked fine and had taken the death exemption medal, he left in a flash. After they left the little house of Rose, as they watched their own captain walking straight into a tree, the four others were stupefied. A second before he knocked into the tree, nameless Nia instinctively stopped in his tracks and avoided crashing right into it. He rubbed his chin and seemed to be in deep thought. This was the very first time their captain had such a profound expression on his face, and the expressions on their faces were indescribable. Spray of Flowers couldn't help but probe. Captain, what's on your mind? Nameless Nia mumbled. Do you guys think? Spray of Flowers. Think what? Nameless Nia rubbed his chin. Do you guys think famous Yi might be my younger sister? Spray of Flowers and the devotee looked at one another, then put their heads together and started whispering. Spray of Flowers. Godly Rod, do you think Captain has lost his mind from missing his sister too much? Devotee. I think so. Spray of Flowers. Do you know where worryless Nia came from? That old freak. She was He Lianju's only disciple. He was a legendary chief instructor from Scarlet Flames Academy, known as the Demon King from Hell, aka a devil coach, and he's extremely savage. Tell me, would worryless Nia actually wear such a ladylike dress at home and take care of a child? Devotee. If Boss Famous is the captain's sister, I'll swallow 3 caddies of shit. Spray of Flowers. I would even swallow 30 caddies. Brick moving foreigner. I'll swallow less, 10 caddies is enough. Iceberg man. Nameless Nia kicked all of them. Shut up, my sister is also very mo and cute, alright. 4 of them. Captain, could you please wake up? Chapter 949. Little Rose Garden. In the bedroom, Yi Wanwan laid in bed, unable to fall asleep. She was holding her phone while looking through Tong Tong's photos. The more I look at him, the cuter he gets. Yi Wanwan sat up right away and sent Si Yihan a text. Your Highness, may I know when you'll be free? Meanwhile, Si Yihan was attending a business function. Lately, although Yi Wanwan pressured him to promise he would sleep on time, he didn't stop to rest at all, and his itinerary was cut in half. Si Yihan was talking to a couple higher-ups when his phone suddenly rang. He glanced at his screen and saw Yi Wanwan had sent a text. Si Yihan replied with 3 words. What is it? Yi Wanwan replied within seconds. If you're free, let's have a baby. Cough. Si-Han choked on his wine. Sui quickly rushed over and asked nervously, Master, are you okay? He had never seen Si-Han lose himself in public. What happened exactly? Si-Han raised his hand, indicating he was fine. He headed to the little garden at the back of the ballroom and gave Yi Wanwan a call. Yi Wanwan answered very quickly. Why did you call? Si-Han. What did you mean just now? Yi Wanwan laughed. Haha, nothing. I just felt quite bored all of a sudden. Bored? So you want to have a baby for fun? He was almost used to the way her brain worked. A tinge of helplessness appeared in Si-Han's eyes. I'll be back the day after tomorrow. Ah, so soon. Yi Wanwan blurted out in surprise. What sort of person was Si-Han? He obviously noticed the change in Yi Wanwan's tone, so he replied, Soon? Yi Wanwan hurriedly said, No. What I meant was that you don't have to rush at all. You must be careful with your health. It's fine if you return a little later. Si-Han. Is that so? Yi Wanwan had a headache. Must this guy be so sensitive? He could tell something wasn't right just by a slight change in my tone. Yi Wanwan quickly said, Of course. I was just worried about you. What else could it be? Did you think I was hiding a man in the house and was afraid you would find out when you suddenly returned? Si-Han. Yi Wanwan changed the subject quickly. Oh right, when you're back, isn't Mr. Mu coming over to C Corporation for an inspection? I'm already quite familiar with the etiquette. Just send all the relevant documents regarding Mr. Mu to me, so I can familiarize myself and make some preparations. Si-Han. Thankfully, Si-Han didn't probe further. After they hung up, Si-Han looked out into the darkness like he was pondering over something. He had secretly dispatched some people to protect Yi Wanwan, but they were in charge of her safety, not monitoring. Aside from her safety, he hadn't asked them to report back and only needed to know she was safe. However, Yi Wanwan really didn't sound like her normal self just now. Even if she sounded normal, he knew she was hiding something from him for sure. Little Rose Garden. Yi Wanwan had regrets the moment she hung up. She should have just told Si-Han the truth. Why didn't she have the guts to do it, making herself feel so guilty? She made it look like she had an illegitimate child behind his back. I'm so dead. Chapter 950. This sudden feeling, where she didn't want Si-Han to see Tang, seemed to have emerged from her subconsciousness. Yi Wanwan was unable to understand why she felt this way. Was it because Tang resembled herself, and she was afraid Si-Han would misunderstand? Yi Wanwan kept thinking it over and over, but she couldn't come up with a reason. After hanging up the phone, Yi Wanwan went to the other room to see Tang, worried that the little fella might not be able to sleep well in an unfamiliar environment. Yi Wanwan opened the door gently and was stunned. There was no one in bed. Yi Wanwan instantly became scared. Tang. She searched around the house and couldn't find him. Finally, she saw a small silhouette on the balcony. She could only see that the little fella was still wearing his adorable pajamas, sitting alone by himself. Yi Wanwan's heart strangely ached. Could it be that Tang had spent the past 2 nights sitting there? She should have realized sooner that such a young child, who left his home and entered an unfamiliar environment, wouldn't feel at home so soon. Tang, why are you sitting here? Are you having trouble sleeping? When the little fella heard Yi Wanwan's voice, he froze. Mommy's here. What is it? Are you not used to sleeping here? As Yi Wanwan asked this, she noticed the light from Nye Tang Zhao's phone that was on the round table. On the screen was a photo of a man. Yi Wanwan hadn't clearly seen the photo when the phone screen went dark by itself. She had only been able to notice the number 1 labeling the photo. What did the label mean? Could there still be a 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6? Of course, at this moment, Yi Wanwan would never have guessed that this was one of the candidates Tang suspected could be his dad. Yi Wanwan didn't think about it too much and instead, she rubbed the little fella's head. Mommy will sleep with you, okay? The little fella looked up and replied seriously. Mommy, I can sleep by myself. I was just thinking about some matters. Yi Wanwan laughed when she heard the little boy say seriously that he was thinking about some matters. That's not possible. If you don't sleep at night, you won't grow any taller. At that moment, Tong Tong's straight face really resembled a certain someone. Damn, am I feeling guilty? Instead of Tang Tang being my illegitimate child, he seems more like Si Yi Han's illegitimate child, alright? Yi Wanwan directly took the little fella's small hand and returned to the house. She tucked the little fella into bed, then she laid down next to him. Baby, how about mommy tells you a bedtime story? The little fella was lying next to his mommy. His small hands grasped the edges of his blanket, and his big eyes looked like stars as he gazed at Yi Wanwan expectantly. Yi Wanwan felt as though her heart had softened into mush as she softly began. A very, very long time ago, there was a little girl. Everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood, because of the really nice-looking red hood given to her by maternal grandmother. One day, Little Red Riding Hood went to deliver a cake to her grandma, but on the way there, she encountered a big gray wolf. Little Red Riding Hood had never seen such a handsome wolf, so she decided to hoodwink the wolf with her cake. Damn, she nearly told the wrong version. Yi Wanwan immediately stopped herself and quickly switched versions. Cough cough, when Little Red Riding Hood saw the wolf, a wolf she had never seen before, she didn't know about the wolf's vicious nature. Thus, she told the wolf she was going to the forest to visit her grandmother. And then, under the dim yellow light, paired with a gentle, soothing voice, the little fella slowly closed his eyes with his soft, small face pressed against his mommy's hand as he fell into a sweet slumber. Chapter 951. On the other side of the ocean. At the top of a grand and prestigious building, the symbol of a black eagle was shining beneath the sunlight. In the hall, a stern-looking middle-aged woman was sitting at a table. She appeared cold and indifferent as she waited there. A brief moment later, a man in a black suit, who wiped his sweat as he respectfully strode in, said, "Madam Nia, excuse me for not going out to greet you. What brought you to visit our Black Eagle mercenary group?" The woman expressionlessly replied, "I'm ordering an S-rank warrant." His expression immediately changed when he heard that. "Madam Nia, who are you trying to apprehend?" Who could possibly have offended the Nia family to the point that Madam Nia had to come personally to request an S-rank warrant? Did the standalone island want to revolt? The woman glanced up. Nameless Nia. The corners of the nervous man's lips twitched. Did I mishear? The target of the warrant is her own son. Right as the man in the suit didn't know what to do, a man wearing gray robes strode in. Once the man in the suit saw him, he felt as though his lucky star had come to save him. "And Mr. Nia, the madam said she wanted an S-rank warrant for young Master Nia." The gray-robed man walked over to the woman's side and lightly coughed before he tried to dissuade her. "Madam, things might not be as bad as you think they are. Didn't Ling Feng and Ling Yun already say Tang Tang is fine?" The woman didn't say anything. She only glanced coldly towards the man. The gray-robed man suddenly turned towards the man in the suit. "Didn't my wife already give you orders? What are you still dawdling here for? Go send the warrant." S-rank. The man in the suit nearly broke into tears. "Boss, oh please, that's enough." At that moment, the gray-robed man's phone started ringing. The gray-robed man carefully glanced at his phone. "Madam, it's our son calling." The woman quietly replied, "Our son?" The gray-robed man immediately replied, "Cough cough, it's our unfilial son calling. I'm just going to answer to see what he has to say." He walked away some distance before lowering his voice and speaking directly into his phone. "Son, your mother just ordered an S-rank warrant for you." Nameless Nia, who was on the phone, was surprised. "Dad, tell me about something honestly." "What? Am I really your child?" "You brat. At this time, you can still joke. Your father. I haven't rested a single day because of you. How could you come up with such a junk idea? How could you casually find someone to impersonate Worryless?" Nameless Nia weakly replied, "Dad, I didn't casually find someone. That girl is really good. I even have a photo here which I think can save me. I just sent it to you. Quick, show it to Mom. Once she sees it, I don't think she'll be angry at me anymore." "You think one photo can alleviate her anger?" You really think that's possible? This time, even coaxing from me doesn't work. Nameless Nya went silent for a moment before he replied. Father, do you have some kind of misunderstanding about your position in our family? Hey, you brat! What did you say? I dare you to say it again. Nameless Nya reminded his dad and urged him to show the photo to his mother, then hung up the phone. The man didn't have a choice and did as Nameless Nya instructed. He brought his phone over to the woman. Madam, that brat sent a photo and said I should show you. The woman's gaze became several degrees colder. What is there to see? You tell him to immediately bring back Tang Tang. Otherwise, I have nothing to say to him. Cough cough, just look at it first. The gray-robed man opened up his phone screen. Indeed, Nameless Nya had just sent over several photos to his email. Chapter 952. The man clicked the first photo. When he saw the photo, he froze. Madam, quickly look. The woman was not in the mood at all to see some random photo, but after glancing it, her entire expression changed. She immediately snatched the phone from her husband. This is our Tang Tang. In the photo was their little darling wearing furry, cartoon pajamas. He showed a heart to the camera with a small hand. It was so cute and heartwarming. She had never seen their darling looking so cute and childlike before. The gray-robed man replied emotionally, That's Tang Tang all right. The woman treated the cell phone as though it was a baby as she kept looking at the photo over and over. Her face was filled with disbelief as she murmured, It really is Tang Tang. Madam, now you can rest easy. From the looks of it, he seems to be well. That brat of ours seems to have a decent caretaker this time. The man coaxed her. The woman's gaze never left the photo as she urgently asked, Are there any other photos? There should be another one. The woman didn't reply and rushed to open the other photo. There was only one other photo. However, this one was a group photo. Aside from Tang Tang, there was also a young girl in the photo. The girl was sitting with Tang Tang on the sofa, happily looking at the camera while forming one heart with Tang Tang. When the woman looked at the photo, she was shocked, then her eyes began to redden. Worryless. This is worryless. The man's expression was also filled with shock, but he quickly calmed down. This should be the girl our son mentioned before, the girl he found to impersonate Worryless. After searching for their daughter throughout the years, they had been disappointed way too many times. They no longer carried any hope. The woman stared directly at the girl in the photo. But why is it that when I look at this girl, it feels like she's my Worryless? I've never had this feeling before. The man held his wife in his arms and patted her on the shoulder. If she's Worryless, there's no way we didn't find her before. Madam, you just feel this way because you miss Worryless too much. The woman closed her eyes, hiding the despair in them. The gray-robed man let out a sigh, and a streak of coldness flashed through his gaze. Honestly, no news on Worryless is actually good news. If Worryless came back, knowing the situation on that side, they definitely wouldn't sit still, then she'd fall into more danger. China, Little House of Rose. Morning of the next day. After the events of last night, Yuanwan originally wanted to stay home to accompany Tang Tang. However, she had the screening of a life and death struggle today, so she had to work. But she also couldn't bear to leave Tang Tang alone in the house. After thinking it through, she decided to bring Tang Tang along to see the production team. Regarding her cross-dressing as a man, she already explained it to Tang Tang the night before. Originally, she thought she would have to explain a lot in order for him to understand, but Tang Tang's level of comprehension was very high. She only needed to explain a bit before he understood, and he even knew that when she was dressed as a man, he needed to team up with her by not calling her mommy. He was even more dependable than his uncle by far. This was why Yi Wanwan wasn't worried at all that bringing Tang Tang along would be inconvenient. Thus, Yi Wanwan ultimately decided she would bring Tang Tang with her. Baby, wait in the car for mommy. Mommy forgot something. Okay. The little fella obediently nodded. Yi Wanwan hadn't left for long before her phone, that was in the car, began ringing. Nya Tang Xiao glanced at the phone and saw the caller ID on the screen that read, Most beloved darling. Chapter 953 Most Beloved Darling. When Nye Tang Xiao saw those 3 words, his little face became frozen. The phone kept ringing. The caller ID kept flashing on the phone screen. Outside the country, inside a certain suite at a luxurious hotel, Si Yihan was frowning as he held his phone. Every time he called Yi Wanwan, he called according to her schedule so it would be convenient for her to answer, so she should be able to answer within seconds. However, no one answered this time. Su Yi, who was standing to the side, held a big pile of documents. He asked, "Ninth Master, what is it? Did Miss Wanwan not answer the phone?" Si Yihan didn't reply. With his hand, he pinched the space between his brows. He felt that lately he couldn't focus and was overthinking too much. It was probably because she wasn't in his line of sight. Su Yi boldly replied, "Miss Wanwan has a screening today. My guess is that she headed over to the production team early, so she must be busy right now." Sui sighed inwardly. His master appeared frightening and cold to others as though nothing could affect him, but when it came to matters concerning Miss Wanwan, after waiting a while, the line appeared like it was going to automatically cut off since no one was answering the call. Si Yihan was about to put his phone away when the call suddenly went through. However, even though the call went through, no one spoke from the other end. The screen showed the counter for the duration of the call, and the seconds began to jump up. Very quickly, 5 seconds went by and the silence dragged on. As the seconds continued to count on, Si Yihan's gaze deepened bit by bit. Su Yi, who was still standing quietly to the side, observed as his master's expression became rather strange and filled with suspicion. What's going on? Why isn't anyone saying anything? After another few seconds, no one had said anything still. Si Yihan glanced down at his phone screen, then expressionlessly asked, "Who are you?" Upon hearing his master's 3 words, Sui was shocked. Fuck. What happened? Miss Wanwan wasn't the one who answered the phone? However, Sui was positioned fairly close to master, but he hadn't heard the person over the phone saying anything. How did his master know the person wasn't Miss Wanwan? There was still no reply from the person over the phone after Si Yihan asked this question. Doot doot doot. Soon after, the phone transmitted the sound of the line hanging up. Sui stared at the phone and took a deep breath, not daring to make a sound. How did Miss Wanwan's phone end up in someone else's hands? At that moment, Si Yihan's phone flashed. It was a text message from Yi Wanwan's phone. Si Yihan stared at the notification. He peered down at it, then he clicked it open with his finger. "And who are you?" This message confirmed it wasn't Yi Wanwan. The atmosphere became tenser by several degrees. Si Yihan directly replied back. "Her caller ID should answer your question." This reply, one-hit KO. The caller ID was Most Beloved Darling. Did they even need to ask who he was? Their relationship was clearly beyond friendship, and he could even be said to be the one who was most intimate with her. After Si Yihan sent this message, there was no reply from Yi Wanwan's phone for a while. Some time passed, and a reply was finally received. Inside the message was, "Yesterday night she slept with me." Chapter 954 Bang. The sound reverberated throughout the hotel's luxury suite. The documents originally in Su Yi's hands were scattered across the floor. When he unintentionally glanced at the message on Si Yihan's phone, Sui felt like he was almost scared to the point of pissing his pants. Shit. Seriously, what did I just see? Right now, someone else was in possession of Miss Wanwan's phone. That person also used Miss Wanwan's phone to send a text to his master that read, "Yesterday night she slept together with me." Slept together? These 7 words strung together were so powerful. They were practically an epic atomic bomb. Su Yi's spirit seemed to have broken into pieces as he stiffly turned his neck to watch his master's reaction. The aura his master was exuding was extremely chilling due to his icy expression and the murderous intent in his eyes. With pacification and taming from Miss Wanwan, his master had nearly become a saint. He was neither arrogant nor angry nor impatient, but because of this new incident, everything reverted back to how it once was, and the doors of hell had opened again. 99th Master. There must be some kind of misunderstanding here. Sui was so scared that he couldn't even finish his sentences properly. However, Miss Wanwan's phone really was in someone else's hands this early in the morning. They even sent this kind of message without explaining things clearly. Damn. Why is it that Miss Wanwan rarely has anything going on, but when she does, she scares everyone to death? Si Han stared at the message on his phone, and suddenly had flashbacks to Yi Wanwan's behavior when she was talking to him the night before. When I said I would be returning the day after, her tone seemed as though she didn't want me to return so early. He didn't want to suspect her, but this time, his instincts told him things weren't right. Sui, book the next flight back to China. But Sui wanted to dissuade him, but when he saw his master's expression, he immediately abandoned his idea. Yes, I'll go do that now. Outside the little house of Rose. Inside the car, Nye Tangxiao was staring at the message. Her caller ID should answer your question. His little face tensed up as anger flashed through his dark gaze. He remained that way until he replied back with, "Yesterday night she slept together with me." Only then did the little fella's expression lighten up a bit. But when he saw the sender's saved name again, he instantly pursed his lips. "Baby mommy is back. Let's head out." When Nye Tangxiao heard Yi Wanwan's warm voice, he quickly placed the phone back. Yi Wanwan opened the car door and sat in the driver's seat, oblivious to how her phone was now located on the stand on the dashboard when it was left on her seat earlier. Due to her worries about being overly busy and not being able to take care of Tang Tang, Yi Wanwan also picked up Tang Bin and Song Chang. At this moment, the little fella was obediently sitting in his seat like usual, so Yi Wanwan didn't notice anything off with him. The little fella lowered his gaze to mask the distress in his eyes. He knew he shouldn't have done what he did, but it was just so infuriating. "I'm clearly mommy's most beloved darling." The car continued smoothly down the road. Yi Wanwan was seated in the front, focused on driving, while in the back, the quiet Nye Tangxiao asked, "Can I ask you two misters a question?" Tang Bin and Song Chang instantly sat upright. Tang Bin, "Of course." Song Chang, Ask away, ask away." Nye Tangxiao, "Who does mommy love the most?" When the duo heard this question, they looked at each other with surprise and began to sweat. This was a life or death type of question. Chapter 955. If they had known this earlier, they would have stayed at home and gone through their monstrous training. Why did they have to answer such a terrifying question? Who did their master love the most? Was this even a question that needed asking? Although they hadn't been by their master's side for long, even they knew that the one their master loved the most must be the Si family's gorgeous family head. Who was their master? She was the beautiful Black Widow who had countless boy toys, but now, because of the head of the Si family, she gave up a huge forest of men. She came a long distance to China so they could see each other every day and have sweet, romantic dates. In her eyes, other men weren't even worth a single glance. That was true love. The answer was very obvious. However, the duo's instincts told them something. They absolutely could not tell the truth. Tang Bin decidedly said, "The person master loves the most. That of course would be you, young master." Song Chang followed his lead. That's right. Aside from you, young master, who else could it be?" Unfortunately, the little devil was clearly not that gullible. "Is that so?" Tang Bin, "Yes." Song Chang, Yes. Right as the duo began trembling in fear, the second life or death question came. Nye Tangxiao, "The person who mommy calls baby, who is that?" Damn baby. Their master would only use such an intimate title for none other than the gorgeous family head. There was no escape. The two glanced at each other, both thinking in sync. Wouldn't that be your own father? After the young master arrived, they secretly wondered several times who his real father could be. After thinking it over many times, they concluded that the family head of the Si family was most likely the father. But what if he wasn't? Their answer couldn't just be a random guess. "Master, save us." In the midst of their internal begging, the car finally arrived. "We're here, you can get off." Subsequently, Yi Wanwan parked the car. The duo felt as though they were granted amnesty. and they hurriedly rushed the little fella out of the car. It was all thanks to Yi Yi and Yi Shaoan paying out of their own pockets on advertising that their A Life and Death Struggle premiere screening received so much attention. Headlines describing the incident from the night before had already been plastered all over the tabloids early in the morning. All members of the media had come to today's premiere screening without an invitation. In addition, there were also fans present, so the venue was very lively. Gongsu Gongsu. Luo Chun, I love you. Yi Wanwan arrived at the same time as the main cast members, Gongsu and Luo Chun. They were literally surrounded by reporters and fans as they walked forward. Han Xianyu was following closely behind since he also played a supporting role in the film as a favor for a friend. When Han Xianyu arrived, the entire venue erupted in screams and cheers. Yi Wanwan's group was taking a different path, so they didn't rouse any attention from the media and the fans. Come Tang Tang. We're going this way. Yi Wanwan held Tang Tang's small hand. The little fella nodded and silently peered at the crowd. There were too many people at the venue, so it was too hectic and crowded. He couldn't even make out the 3 people that were being surrounded. The screening was taking place in a large, open field up ahead. Not far from this place was a hotel for artists and staff. Yi Wanwan first settled Tang Tang in the break room before heading out for her scheduled activities. The main stars that day were the creative staff from the production team. Yi Mu Fan would be attending as the representative from their company. Meanwhile, Yi Wanwan only needed to appear briefly to cut the ribbon with everyone and burn a stick of incense, then she could return to the break room. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.